shit, right.
Got you banned from an entire country.
Oh, dude, he can never go to Japan to wrestle.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Ruben Uncut. I'm Ruben, and I'm here with my good friend Gato from the Wrestling Mask.
Yeah.
And it's appropriate, not just because Gato wants to not ruin his chances of future employment. You watch my show, you understand. But also because today we're going to be looking at Logan Paul interviewing Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that this happened, immediately I texted you about it.
You did,
and I painstakingly went through the effort of not watching all of the people just shredding this on Twitter
because you knew that I would ask you to watch it with
me. Yeah, I actually wanted to be surprised instead of like prepared like all the other times we watch Hulk Hogan crap.
That's fair. So. Although we were not prepared for the infamous Hulk Hogan lying about his tattoos. We were not prepared for that.
Yeah. And then since we have talked about him last, he did a super racist drunken tirade at one of his pretty much MAGA rallies that he disguises as promo events for a shitty new beer that he has called Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer.
Oh, wow.
The logo of which you can buy on a t-shirt at WWE shop, and that's probably not great for him because I bet WWE probably heard about his racist tirade and maybe they took it down. I don't know. I don't buy Hulk Hogan merch and I don't want to search it.
Fair. But all right, this is a long one. So yeah. We're just going to jump into it. I'll have to save all my thoughts on how the right-wing Russian assets were recently outed. Save that for another probably shorter, because I don't think I could necessarily cover it better than some people. But yeah, let's check this shit out. Box. All right, but Hulk Hogan leaks secret Donald Trump call. It's a bold title that already I'm ready to roast. Logan Paul's WWE career exposes The Rock. Although, if there's anyone I would not trust to expose anyone, it is Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, because he lies so much and he doesn't remember shit.
He just has no credibility as a person, as a serious, like Hulk Hogan. You have to understand, is a liar, like all the time.
Always has been.
And it's one thing that we know for certain is that Hulk Hogan has zero credibility when it comes to not just saying shit. Hold on, let's real quick. What are your expectations for this?
I mean, it's Logan Paul's stupid fucking podcast. He's had wrestlers on before.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of why they were so eager to sign him for so very, very much money. Is because his podcast has a big following, so they knew that they could have wrestlers on there, and then more people would look at wrestling that way. So this isn't his first time I had a wrestler on, but however, the last time he had a wrestler on, it was Dominic Mysterio, who trolled the fuck out of him most of the interview.
Nice.
So Hogan probably doesn't know enough about Logan Paul to troll him.
Well, it says he roasts his WWE career, so he at least knows about Logan Paul as a wrestler. How much else he knows? Probably not a lot.
Yeah, probably just knows he has a big following. He seems like a closet conservative to me.
And Donald Trump was already on his program.
And I listened to it, and he was basically just like, "You're so cool and good, Donald Trump."
Yeah, no. That a lot of Logan Paul and Donald Trump fans showed up in my comments for my reaction to that interview. They were not thrilled with my take, and I don't expect they will be here as well. My expectations is that Hulk Hogan will make at least one ridiculous lie, and he will probably talk about Christ. And if he doesn't talk about Christ, I will actually be surprised, considering that is his current go-to grift.
Your brother's too strong, bro.
He's too strong, right? Yeah. And he's like really actually super strong. Like he doesn't look like it. He maybe does look like it a little bit, but like the weight he pushes in the gym is impressive.
Yeah, last night, as soon as I saw him set the guy up to the left, he kept on overhead right with Bowman.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, really.
No, seriously. And he has a left hand now that looks like it's firing off. He's.
I love Mike to death. I don't want to kill Mike. Jesus.
Tyson.
Yeah.
Bro, we have to talk about
Wait,
this.
is this the podcast?
Yeah, is this the?
You know, I'm excited.
Should we just give him the headphones?
Yeah. You can just stay there. he's talking about Mike and Jake. I'm like, you could just do it here.
Please lob him up right over here. I actually don't hate it.
That's hilarious.
It's interesting.
That's hilarious.
Like Hulk does what Hulk wants, bro.
Hulk does what Hulk wants.
Is there something wrong with his mic?
Probably. Logan seems petty enough that he would turn everyone else's mic down.
Because I can't really. Speaking of which, let's turn my own audio settings up here.
Give him a high share.
My eyes are bleeding.
Yeah, I can relate.
Bro, this dude's a legend.
Yeah, he's fine.
I had to hit Visine this morning. When I woke up, my eyes were super dry.
Oh, Visine.
Oh wait, no, he just is dumb enough to not talk into the microphone.
Oh,
see
yeah,
that?
he does.
He's turning. They have a very different microphone setup than mine. I apologize for my low quality. I'm poor as hell. Logan Paul has no excuse. But Logan Paul's little buddy here, the guy with the beard, he was on it last time I saw his show, and I still don't know who the hell he is.
He's just one of Logan's friends.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I assume. But he is literally like you can see it now from this angle. He has turned his entire goddamn head away from his microphone.
Which is also nowhere near where his face would be anyway.
Yeah, no, the placement is...
See if he'll probably notice it eventually.
If they have a sound guy, I would expect the sound guy to notice it. I don't have a sound guy.
This is you. Headphones are optional.
Oh, really?
I'll recommend him. But I won't recommend anything to you, sir. You can just do anything you want to. In trouble if you do.
No, I know. I got him off the streets of
I
Connecticut.
was sitting there, half asleep last night. He walks by, goes, 11 o'clock tomorrow. I was like,
Him?
yeah, this one right here. Get your ass back over here.
Yo, what?
That was funny.
That's what I said.
My wife goes, who's that? I don't really know.
He goes, 11 o'clock. I'm not going to know.
That's Mike Malak, but you
That
call
depends
him.
on what time we get to bed, man.
That's
Oh,
right. You comfortable?
Maybe?
I mean, it's a big house.
Clearly. Is he in Ohio right now?
Logan Paul? No.
Yeah.
He was in LA for a long time. I heard he moved to Puerto Rico. I don't know if he's still in Puerto Rico. This is around when his brother got raided by the feds, so he's probably scared they're going to come for him too.
Logan, the feds can get you in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, buddy, but Puerto Rico is pretty much a state.
Yeah, no, Puerto Rico. You see, it's not just states that are part of America. We have several other things that are below states that we call things like protectorates, or that's another one, isn't it?
Yeah, there is another one.
Forget what it is. But territories.
Territories, yeah.
America has reach into some weird areas of the world, I mean, and Puerto Rico is one of them. You don't even need a passport to go there, man. That should have told you.
This pillow behind you, you want me to move that? You good?
yeah, grab that thing out of there, bro. Oh, there you go. Oh, thank you.
Hold on. I think he might also just have a shitty mic, too. Because, like, Hulk Hogan also sounded way better there.
Did you go to bed?
Trying.
Last night?
Oh, no, he got it. He's moving.
That's what same as me.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we've been running, man, I think. Bo, where the hell were we? Ozarks?
Yeah, from the convention to Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah, I think the first night we had like 2 hours sleep.
You're just not
This
sleeping.
is my wife, Sky. I don't know if you guys met.
Yes, Sky.
Okay.
Yep.
do you
I'm sorry.
need
I'm just now waking
sleep?
up.
Hulk, do you need sleep?
Oh, God, yeah, bro. If I don't, man, my back and everything.
Eyes start bleeding.
What's he?
Such a fucking stupid question. Do you need sleep?
Hulk Hogan, do you sleep just like everybody else? Oh, wow. I don't know.
Bro.
I mean, he does hang out with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump brags about only sleeping like, 3 hours a night or whatever the fuck. So
What? Donald Trump only sleeps 3 hours a night?
Well, I mean, he drinks like fucking 15 Diet Cokes every day.
Oh my God. How is Donald Trump not just keeled over?
Vince McMahon also doesn't sleep.
Yeah. And Vince McMahon is out of his fucking mind. Not sleeping is bad for you. Oh my God. We had a president who only slept 3 hours a night? Jesus. Or he's lying to sound cool. I don't know.
Yeah, that does seem like something pointless that Trump would lie about to seem cool.
Sleep, never heard of it. I get the least sleep you could ever sleep. That's me. Sleeping the least.
Yeah. No, I've had like in the last. Are we going? Are we rolling?
Yeah. We're sorry.
Yeah.
You guys tell me when.
No, it's real casual stuff.
Yeah,
This ain't Tucker Carlson,
Ah,
to say the least.
no, I've had like 25 surgeries in the last 10 years.
That's a
10 back surgeries. Nobody told me that this stuff was fake, man. No, but 10 back surgeries, both knees, both hips replaced, shoulders, everything. But at the end of the day, the equipment back in the day when I started wrestling in '77 was a little different than the rings and stuff you guys are working in now.
Totally. I heard it was much harder.
Oh God, Andre used to tell me about.
So the idea that they lied to him about it being real when he first joined Wrestler is officially part of his own canon.
Yeah.
That's a thing that, whether it's true or not, he's going to double down on that one. It's in his head.
Baldwin, boss, don't fall down. You won't get back up. It was like a 22-foot boxing ring that had lumps in it, boards sticking up. It was horrible.
That didn't concern you? Because like now you're kind of paying the price for it.
Yeah, it is what it's, I mean, you came from South Tampa. There's a road called Gandy Boulevard here. And if you're south of Gandy, you're called a SOG, S-O-G, south of Gandy. SOG. And you either work construction, you either became a professional athlete, or you sold drugs. Those are your choices. So,
which one did you choose?
Well, I did a little different. I played music for like 10 years before I ever got into the wrestling business. But no, it was.
We confirm those 10 years?
No.
Okay.
I feel like if somebody had a recording of a band with Hulk Hogan playing bass, they'd have released it by now. Or Hogan would have released it by now.
So,
money.
So we imagine that the real story is that he just played some weird cover band that performed in bars or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but nothing recorded. He probably never toured. He might have played pretty consistently.
There is some album that he claims to be on uncredited, and I forget what it is, but it's almost definitely bullshit.
Yeah.
It was something that I kind of stumbled into. I was a huge fan. But yeah, I mean, back in the day when we were wrestling, bro, first off, when I went to Japan, I was coming off the top rope with no knee pads on, and I was 330 pounds.
Oh, you dumb as hell.
I've heard that when Hulk Hogan was in Japan, he actually did try a little bit and I don't know about diving off the top rope, but he was doing like drop toe holds and shit like that.
We probably didn't want the Japanese to think he was a pussy.
Yeah, they are really crazy over
there. So like, he's like, oh man, brother, I gotta go wrestle with the Japanese. Oh man, they're nuts. I gotta get in there. Oh, I'm turning into Macho Man. God damn it. But brother. That's right. Slower and more guttural, like a large dog. Brother, I went to Japan. Didn't want them to think I was a pussy. Still can't get it right. All right, never mind. Moving on.
And all of a sudden, I said, okay, the left knee's already gone. I've only been in the business like 2 years, so it was just the equipment. And
I will confirm, your knees getting fucked up sucks ass.
Yeah.
Jumping up and dropping the damn leg for 40 years. When I had the largest arms in the world, I should have been using a sleeper, no bumps.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all cool, man. No regrets.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because like as someone who's new in the industry, I'm recognizing that like longevity is kind of the name of the game. And I want to be healthy so I could do the sport, but I'm also looking 10, 20, 30 years down the line. And I don't want to be hobbling around. But do you think
Logan Paul's advantage is that he gets to be famous for something before doing wrestling?
Yeah. Also, he doesn't wrestle enough for that to even be a problem that he has to worry about.
I mean, I'm sure it's still like gonna have long-term effects on his body, but like it's not like he's working the roads. It's not like he's not
on Raw or SmackDown every week. He's only brought it. I mean, they're probably mad at him now because he's in a lawsuit with that boxer.
Yeah. Don't just believe everything you see on the internet and add your 2 cents before it's been confirmed whether or not it's true, people. This is the lesson. Fucking idiots. I hope they take J.K. Rowling for a bunch of her money. But anyways. Oh yeah, he's not in the ring every night or every other night.
Yeah, he's not doing like house shows or any of that shit. He's just like when they have plans for him, they call him, he does it, but mostly it's just talking segments leading up to a match that he has, which I feel like is why they put a title on him, just so they could justify him not wrestling as much. Because then it's like, well, he's the champion, he can do what he wants. But now he's not champion of nothing no more, and he hasn't even been mentioned on WWE programming.
I mean,
quite a while.
Yeah, they'll probably not use him for anything until the lawsuit's over, and then like even then they'll probably like use it as a surprise, so it really pops or something.
I feel like people were starting to get bored of him too, and he's only really famous in America, and they're going overseas a lot now.
That's a good point. I mean, the other thing is that Logan Paul's value to them is the fact that he has his own fan base.
Yeah.
So like him coming into wrestling potentially brings those people over as wrestling fans even if
they just watch Logan's shit, like it's still something.
Some percentage of those fans will be turned on by wrestling and like suddenly get into wrestling even when Logan Paul isn't there, and even if that percentage is small, it still turns into money for them.
It's just like I'm still confused as to like what he wants out of wrestling, because I can tell he likes the attention. He was jock kid, not in school, so he probably likes the athletic part of it. He's very clearly doing steroids, so that leads me to believe WWE's wellness policy is kind of relaxed.
Well, he's got to compensate for the forever chemicals that they found in Prime,
I've never seen him drink, by the way.
That's a good point.
He holds it.
It's on his set,
but he doesn't drink it. He never drinks it.
Wait, was he drinking one at the beginning? Let's watch and see if he drinks from it.
He's just got this douchey little cold brew now.
He is drinking out of a cold brew currently, which seems like overkill on top of a Prime, which has 200 milligrams of caffeine, doesn't it? Or am I thinking Celsius?
The energy drink does.
Okay.
That's the one in the can. The bottle one's just the hydration.
Oh, okay.
Like the bullshit potassium water.
Gotcha. He's trying to cover two areas of the drink market at once. Yeah. Gotcha.
I think you wish you would have played it a little smarter for the sake of your body and your physical health?
Yeah, I probably should have quit earlier, but I just loved doing it, and the money was just crazy, because my deal was different than everybody else's, and so.
Which sounds exactly like a guy who once sold out Jesse Ventura trying to unionize.
Yep.
Would say, my deal was different than other people's deal because I busted their union. I sold out Jesse Ventura. So that is exactly what an evil corporate son of a bitch like.
That's probably what set him off to what he is today.
Yeah, no. He's a sellout and a scab, people.
In a way, thank you.
It worked out well, but
Ventura.
Yes.
Telling us about the Denver airport.
You gave us Jesse Ventura. The only conspiracy theorist Trump didn't ruin.
If I'd quit a little bit earlier, probably would have been better off. But anybody that stays in 20, 30 years, like I was in almost 40, you'll see them all. They're all walking around and limping. And
we've had a lot of them on the show.
They're all beat up, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you do any of that new age shit, stem cells?
I've tried it all.
Any of it work for you?
Doesn't work?
Not for me.
But that's the thing, though. You say quit earlier, and I think that's like the piece of advice. But like when he says take it a little bit easier.
Vote. You got a cold beer, bro? I need something.
Attaboy.
That'll work.
It's your beer.
Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, thanks for.
I think this dumbass in the alien shirt is drinking a Prime. Maybe that's what I saw earlier. I saw someone drinking out of what looks like.
Yeah, he looks like he'd drink it.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He's
because keep in mind, Logan's like reshuffled the deck on his best buddies that are on his podcast like a bunch of times. This might be just the only dude left that wants anything to do with him.
I mean, like this guy's a clear this guy's not. No one gives a shit about this guy without Logan Paul, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's nothing without Logan, and Logan knows that, I'm sure, because he's a fucking sociopath.
I mean, like, eventually, like, who's your most loyal friend gonna be? The guy who can't be famous without you. That the entertainment industry is full of those.
Thanks for promoting my beer, guys.
Yeah, of course.
Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
You're so lucky Adam Sandler loves you because you're just the worst kind of person.
Real American beer.
Why don't you crack one with him, buddy?
I'll crack a beer with you.
No, I don't do it.
The weirdest thing was we were on the phone with, what was last night, baby? No, the night before with Trump. After the thing, he called and I missed his call, and we were running pretty hard at the Ozark because that's a little wild over there. So when we came in, I missed something.
Wait, what do you mean it's a little wild there at the Ozark? Are you a saved man partying a little hard?
He's getting wasted at these fucking events.
Oh,
yeah. Everyone, evangelicals love that.
Yeah. I mean, they do seem to turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
I text that son of a gun, man. So as I was texting him, he called me back and we talked about it. I told him, I said, the timing for this beer is, I saw this crazy open lane, and my whole thing's always been marketing and licensing.
That marketing is that he's trying to sell it to all the anti-woke brainwashed people.
There's a picture of him with a person who has a swastika tattoo at one of these Hulk Hogan beer plug-in events.
Send me that image. I'll put it in the episode.
And stuff, so when I went back to WWE in '84 to wrestle the Sheik, they weren't selling T-shirts. They didn't have any music to go to the ring, and I was already doing that in Minnesota, and I was making a ton of money on merch and stuff. So, when I came back and did the Real American thing, I thank you, brother. I was telling
beer. Is that his beer?
Yeah.
I mean, no, my initial response is surprise, but actually makes total sense. He's actually, he has a 6-pack of it next to him already. Next to that hat.
That's just for looking at.
That's like
that one's warm.
Oh wait, I see there is what appears to be an open prime can next to Logan there. So I think he might be drinking the energy brew. Dude, what the fuck? You gonna drink a cold brew and an energy drink?
Okay, I was off. It's not a swastika tattoo. It's an SS bolts and iron cross tattoo. But still, Nazi.
That's just more specific, guys. That's way fucking lamer. Because that means that guy's not just like a neo-Nazi. He's also a guy who's like romanticizing the image of like these SS motherfuckers. Who, by the way, SS guys were like notoriously like the pagan branch of the Nazis, by the way. That's like part of how you got in there. Or am I thinking of the Gestapo? It's one of them. I just want to make a quick note here. I did look up to make sure which one was in fact the pagan-inspired part of the Nazi thing. And it is more complicated than I describe it here. It was the SS. That being said, the SS required you to, similar to the Freemasons, the SS required you to have some religious belief, whether that was pagan or Christian or Catholic, which was considered separate. This was the standard for the SS. That being said, people like Goebbels and Himmler were pagan-y. Himmler himself wrote in his own diaries how both he and Hitler hated Christians and thought Christianity was stupid, but Hitler wouldn't let Goebbels leave the church because of political reasons, which was the value of politically manipulating people with Christianity. That being said, Goebbels was obsessed with the Hyborian theory, which would later become ancient alien theory, while Himmler was just really into the occult. Nordic pagan religious stuff was specifically very popular in Nazi Germany. However, the more prominent pagan belief that was held amongst various people in the Nazi Party was the Thule Society. Many of them were connected to the Thule Society. Now, to be fair, in 1943, shortly before the war ended, that connection was broken when the head of the Thule Society fled Germany for Scotland. Now, I just wanted to clarify some of this stuff because I don't want it to sound like I'm just ragging on the pagans. It's just something that I autistically find very interesting about this part of it. The religious beliefs of the Nazi Party are interesting and wildly all over the place. Fun stuff. Yeah, anyways, weird Nazi trivia. But the point is that is way lamer to have that than a swastika. They're both lame as fuck. But SS means that you're like extra detailed on it. Like you're really into it.
Trump on the phone, I said, I saw this open lane.
It's a red flag if your autistic fixation is Nazis, by the way. Be concerned.
And Trump's been around quite a while, and he's awesome in the ring too, brother. If you ever have a chance to get in the ring with Trump, you got to do it.
Of course.
He'll do whatever you want.
He's great. He did a face-off with me, and it was so cool about it. We did a stare down, and he's.
I've seen that weird, the TikTok they did. then they proceed to do an interview where Donald Trump admits to have never having been in a physical fight in his entire life.
He's like my cool grandpa.
There you go. There you go.
And I imagine you guys have known each other forever.
Yeah, forever. But we were on the phone. I was telling him about the beer. I said the weird thing is the timing, because when I saw that open lane where Bud Light crashed and burned with that marketing plan, I said, oh boy, here we go.
That thing blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Like, Bud Light gave one trans TikToker a can with her face on it, and they lost their minds. This isn't even a can you could buy in a store.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like at least some of them believed it was.
Mm-hmm.
But
all of them believed it was. Like, anybody I've heard like foaming at the mouth about that. We're not there at the Target. Fucking the kids are getting groomed at the Target store.
Yeah. They just wanted to sell beer to Gen Z kids, man.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, most Gen Z kids can drink legally now. Are you scared yet? Actually, wait.
Pretty much most of them can vote now, too.
Yeah.
I was at a convention. I meet when the WWE rushes people through pretty quick, because you got a couple thousand people to see you or your brother. If you're with the WWE, they try to get everybody they can.
Yep.
But when I have time, I like to shake hands, look at people in the eye and stuff. And this guy had the Pabst Blue Ribbon Vice President tag on. I said, oh, damn, man, my dad used to drink that beer.
PBRs.
Yeah, that's the beer my dad drank. And so
PBR is like the very best of the shittiest beers.
Yeah, it's easy to get in you, but
yeah, no, it's just
the taste isn't offensive. I remember when I first started drinking, there were beers that tasted so bad I would throw up just because they tasted so bad.
Oh my god. The worst beer I ever tasted was Beast Ice. Holy shit. That's a bad tasting beer.
Keystone's worse than that.
I know a lot of people who like Keystone. But or do I? Or am I just thinking of a different green bottle? Who knows? But like, Beast Ice is terrible. Milwaukee's Best is terrible. These are straight up piss water beers. I personally think that Heineken tastes like piss, but I hear it's...
That's because it's skunk by the time it gets here.
Yeah, but I hear that's because of how it's transported.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense. But Americans still drink it. Because it's as pretentious as you can drink and still be blue collar.
He asked me if I ever thought about doing an alcohol endorsement. I said, well, not before, but now that I saw this open lane, I said, I think I got this crazy idea for a beer that America's been waiting.
It's not really an open lane. It's a right-wing marketing grift. It's just right-wing money trying to like buy out markets by marketing themselves as being the alternative to the liberal beers. It's so stupid, but it works because dumbasses, because it's branding. People who hate like wokeism want to buy into this branding of like, oh right, the patriotic beer, give me that. I'll buy Matt Walsh's gendered chocolate. Was it Matt Walsh? Someone on Daily Wire made gendered chocolate.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
It's or I'm gonna buy Jeremy Boring's razor blades. Jesus Christ. It's such an obvious con, but most people aren't aware of how sales works, so they don't know.
Waiting for, and I said, back in the day when I was wrestling, I was telling Trump back in the day when we'd wrestle, and he saw a lot of it because he was there at the very beginning, that if him and I were in the ring and everything was cool, and all of a sudden he knocked my teeth out, sometimes no lawyers, no lawsuits, we go back out in the ring and settle it, especially if the guy's been a jerk off and not being safe out there. So we'd go settle it out in the ring. But for me,
I wonder how many people would want to try and settle it with Hulk Hogan.
Oh, dude, tons of people. Like back in those days, dude, like somebody could come up to you and like be like, yeah, I'll give you $10,000 if you break that dude's arm or something, and people would do that all the time back in the outlaw days. So the Iron Sheik before admitted a bunch of times, like, yeah, somebody, I didn't do it, but somebody offered me a bunch of money to break Hulk Hogan's leg. and that was one of his regrets, is that he didn't do it.
Oh, the Iron Sheik has the best Twitter.
Yeah. Rest in peace, you crazy man.
No one knew how to talk shit on Hulk Hogan better than the Iron Sheik. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah,
wanting to beat up, give Hogan receipts.
I almost definitely guarantee that other wrestlers have at points beaten the shit out of Hulk Hogan for realsies. I would not be surprised. Because who's going to talk about it? Hulk Hogan's not going to talk about getting his ass kicked. Think about it.
Yeah, you would never admit to that. Unless it ended with them becoming best friends with whoever kicked his ass afterward, because then he can stand on their grave if they're dead and act like he's a good person.
Which is something Hulk Hogan would do.
He does it with all the time.
And I feel like he's done it with Rowdy Piper.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did, because he claimed, I got a ghost call from Roddy Piper, and he said he's in heaven with Jesus. And
someone call his phone company and find out if any of that shit is true.
If he did get that message, it was before he died, obviously.
Yeah.
But, AI is a thing now.
Oh, that's a good point. Although I don't know if AI was prominent when he originally told that story.
All the guys I was wrestling, I was like 310 pounds. I was a medium-sized guy. Most of the guys were bigger than me, except for Piper and Macho. Everybody else was bigger than me. So I said, let's have a beer and talk about it. So that's where the idea came from. And since the Democrats and the Republicans don't talk, I was thinking, wow, this is even bigger than politics, because the beer I was thinking of, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what color your skin is, or what your sexual preferences. This is the beer for all real Americans, because we're all real Americans.
As opposed to all those other beers.
Yeah, no, like
that go like, are you a cool guy? Oh, think so. You can't drink this beer.
Hulk, if the beer can be for anyone, why would it matter if a trans person was trying to sell beer? It doesn't.
Yeah, why make this beer at all? It's like, I want fuck Bud Light, they're stupid. I wanted to make a beer for the regular people. Oh, but it's for everybody though.
Doesn't matter where. And he goes on to try and even say any group can drink it. It's like, God damn it. And I was gonna call him on something else too in this moment, but I forgot what it was. Because the hypocrisy that he spewed out right as I was pausing it distracted me from whatever I was originally going to say when I reached for the pause button. Just like, oh man, Jesus Christ, Hulk. Oh, right. The thing he said about Republicans and Democrats not talking to you. I don't really think of myself as a Democrat, but I do think of myself as being on the left. And I would be more than happy to talk to any Democrats, Republicans, or centrists who would like to come on my program and talk to me about whatever, or have any conversation. We can do it live if you're more comfortable with that. That way I can't cut you out of context. All right, now that I finished plugging that, let's get back to Hulk Hogan about to say some ridiculously hypocritical things about his beer.
And I was telling Trump my idea was let's bring America back together one beer at a time.
Unity through alcohol.
Yeah, there you go. I love it.
You should make that your tagline.
Thank you, brother. Yeah,
because if there's one thing alcohol never goes well with, it's people of differing political opinions getting drunk together.
Mm-hmm.
Idiot. Yeah, the drunk people never fight ever. Everything's always happy and shiny and great.
Hulk, not only that, some people shouldn't be fucking drinking.
Yeah.
Some people,
especially the people old enough to buy it off of thinking Hulk Hogan's cool.
Oh, that's a good point. Some people get drunk and they become unreasonable and terrible to be around. So not everyone should be getting together drinking. Some people are recovering alcoholics. Hulk, how are they gonna fit? How are you gonna bring them together? A beer is actually an incredibly divisive drink.
Yeah. I'm surprised he's not trying to get in on the liquor market with the Rock's tequila going over so good.
Oh, the Rock. Oh, we haven't even gotten to the part about the Rock yet. Although I don't know. I see what you're saying, from a marketing standpoint, but from a Hulk Hogan standpoint, I do think beer makes.
Yeah, because the people that still suck his dick on the internet are old people that probably only exclusively drink beer.
Well, that one's on the household for what he did for my childhood.
I'll make some money with that one. Yeah, but and then all of a sudden,
I think this guy just has a weird voice.
Yeah, seems like it.
As divided as we are more alike than we are different. And then after this crap happened with Trump, the beer had taken off before. You know, they said, well, if you get a couple states and a couple distributors in the first year, you know, you're going to be doing good. All of a sudden, we're rolling out almost 27 states and 60, 70 distributors instead of having a couple 100,000.
I want you to think about this for a second. We have a super famous, super rich guy who is now making his own beer. And it's only in 27 states.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, actually.
Like, if he were a microbrewery, that would be impressive.
But like, the thing is, he's put marca in the branding, so like it's not gonna really move overseas unless people buy it for the meme.
Like, it's not like he's some nobody who's like building his company from the ground up. If a nobody who was building their company from the ground up was in 27 states, they'd be like, hell yeah, man, good for you. That's fucking great. But like, this guy was on TV for like 40 years.
He was in a Rocky movie, like good Rocky movie too.
It's possibly his only good film credit.
Yeah.
And yet, a little under half of the country didn't immediately start buying his beer. Now, in fairness, it's possible this could be like a distribution problem where he doesn't have enough beer to sell in that many states yet. That's possible. But once again, that seems like something that Hulk Hogan could potentially, who is also connected now to the MAGA business sector, should be able to get the money and resources to deal with that. Now, to be fair, I don't know the background of it. I'm not impressed when Hulk Hogan says 27 states. If your Uncle Jeb were to start a microbrew and say 27 states, it'd be like, good for Jeb.
In cases ordered, we got millions ordered.
That's incredible.
And so now with the Trump thing, I was telling him, I said, America needs to come back together even more, you know? And I was telling Trump when I was doing the speech, well, Vo was with me and Vo was in the back and the stage manager.
I wonder what state said no.
She goes, Hogan's been out there for 6 minutes. He hasn't read the teleprompter yet. We can't believe it. We can't believe they haven't ripped him off the stage. And Vo goes, just let him go. He's okay. And so, you know, I was out there and I said, yeah, with Donald Trump or whatever the hell I said, I can't remember. We're going to bring America back together, one real American at a time. And I almost said beer, you know, but I didn't do it. And it might have been cool, even though the people don't know.
Wait, did he just claim to improvise his speech at the RNC?
I mean, I could see that being true. He's Hulk Hogan. He doesn't shut the fuck up ever. And he did meander and talk about himself. There's no way that was in the speech.
I mean, it would really explain how by the end he had not really said anything.
Yeah. So I could see that being true, just because Hogan's an old head who are naturally blustery people, the wrestlers from that era. And he's a narcissist who lies a lot.
Yep, that one might be true.
You know, half the people there don't even know I got the beer. It might have been cool to say it, but I was telling Trump on the phone, I said, brother, your whole thing, if there was anything crazy, is the fact that you survived this thing and it pissed me off so bad. But on the other hand, it's probably going to make the beer sell even more.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I heard the Secret Service down like a 30-pack before.
I love it. I love it. That's great, man.
Is Trump really your hero?
Yeah, brother. I've known that guy. We rented the business was so different a long time ago because it was just me and Vince.
The fact that he has such a long history with Donald Trump really makes me question some of the things he said at the RNC, specifically about Trump being his hero.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would mean that him being his hero is something that happened before he was ever president. Him being president has nothing to do with that. And not only that, but it makes it highly suspect that Hulk Hogan wasn't a supporter before he became a public supporter.
At first, you know, and I moved up. I worked for his dad originally, and his dad fired me for doing the Rocky movies. They said I'd never work there again. And then when I came back after I started a promotion in Minnesota, I was coming to take over New York. And when I went back, Vince used to be the ring guy doing the interviews. He never really was involved that much in the business. And when I came back, I worked for him. What was the question?
Yeah. Well, this happens sometimes. The question was...
I was like, I thought this question was about Trump. Wait, did he ask if Vince was his hero? What's happening? Just tells a story about Vince McMahon.
Wow.
That's
old man. Son down.
Oh, man. Oh, fucking Hulk. Oh, fucking Hulk Hogan.
Is Trump?
No, give a different one.
No, because I do want to know, because you got on stage at the RNC and you said Trump's your hero, and it looked like you had taken it really personally.
Yeah, well, I did, bro. I did. And the beer, honestly, not trying to be an ass, but the beer isn't really a gimmick. This is personal too, because I really think we need to get our shit together and come back together.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you know, what was the question?
Always wild to me that Republicans say that, because it's like, But you understand that you're the divisive ones, right?
Yeah, they're the ones always like, we're all gonna die and everything's bad.
Like, there's not a specific group of people on the left that we really are out to like get. I mean, you could argue MAGA Republicans, but MAGA Republicans, like the average person understands that that's not every Republican.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that. And that's really just an ideology. Anyways, not even really if you think about it. But anyways, your rhetoric is divisive. And you have to like actually look at the things that your leaders are saying. It is divisive rhetoric. And like intentionally so. You're not trying to bring people together if you're talking to people about fighting to take their country back. Back from who? Other Americans? It doesn't make sense.
Question?
Yeah, so this happens sometimes.
Happens to us
you know
all
what?
the time.
I don't
Yeah,
even know.
he's my hero.
I don't
Wait,
even
now
know
I don't
the
think
question.
he
I
knows.
okay,
I don't
I
think he
just
knows.
remembered. I've only been knocked out a couple times. I just remembered.
You took it personally. It sounded
Yeah,
like you
yeah, I
got
did.
fired up there. Someone
So
tried
what was the question?
Someone,
That's your boy.
someone tried to kill your hero.
That's your boy, bro.
That's your boy. Someone tried to
What
kill
was
him.
the question? No, but I've watched how he's treated people, because he had that air about him, when we first met him. And I was like, okay, man, am I going to get along with this guy or not? Because I was at the top of my game back then. I was on a roll, man. Yep. I was the world's champion. I was doing all these low budget kids movies. I was doing reality TV.
When is this? Late 80s? Early 90s?
Yeah, getting to be late 80s. WrestleMania 3 was in 88, so it was after that 89, 90.
That's the Andre the Giant moment.
Yeah, brother.
Slam.
Yeah, and so then I saw how he treated people, and just to watch him walk in at the beginning of the night when the preliminary match started and sit there all night long, and just how he talked to all the wrestlers in the back and how kind he was to people, and I saw how he handled the Make-A-Wish kids. I watched this guy. I said, man, this brother's for real, And then I got to know him, and I love him to death, but he is kind of vain,
Yep.
And I used to be like the celebrity referee for Us Magazine.
I was going to say that does not sync up with Penn Jillette's description of knowing Trump. If any of what Hulk Hogan is saying is true, then he was a lot nicer to wrestlers than he was to people on The Apprentice. Though to be fair, he owned he was basically the show on The Apprentice, which might be related to it.
So if Logan Paul got an argument with Jake Paul over a girl or something, I say, okay, Logan, you're right, but your brother's got better hair than you or something. I do the.
I actually think it's the exact opposite.
Yeah,
Usually I'm wrong, and I also have better hair.
There you go.
Apparently,
No, but what I'm trying to tell you is I did the celebrity thing between Donald Trump and J-Lo, and Trump was right, because J-Lo was not being cool. But I tagged it with, and by the way, Trump, J-Lo's got better hair than you.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I get a letter from Trump Plaza,
Susan
handwritten
Sif.
letter. No, from Trump. Well, apparently, Terry, I thought we were on the same page and we were friends, but,
Bro, that's literally the worst thing you could say to Trump.
I know, but I was just ribbing, bro. I was just trying to get a cheap shot and get myself over,
His family.
Now, that does line up with what Gillette said, because what he said was that Trump had no sense of humor besides being mean to other people.
His mom, it don't matter.
No,
his hair is
but he's a great guy, man. We talked and we're on the same page. I was one of these guys that was a coward. I was one of these guys that wouldn't put a Trump sign on my yard or wouldn't wear the Trump shirt, the Trump hat, because I was afraid, what might happen or whatever. And I said, after they took that shot at him and tried to kill him, I said, that was it.
I don't think
that was it.
Yeah, I don't think you were a coward. I think there's a lot of people.
So he lives in a gated community in fucking Florida. And he's talking about he's scared to put Trump shit out.
And also he said, like, when they took that shot at him, but that's not what happened.
Yeah.
It was a lone gun. This actually legitimately was a lone gunman situation. It wasn't like he was part of some larger group. The guy was a registered Republican. His father was a registered Libertarian, and his mom was a registered Democrat. He went to gun ranges. He was described as being very conservative, while at the same time apparently taking the COVID more seriously than Trump. I'm getting sidetracked. The point is that when Hulk Hogan says they, that's incredibly either delusional or disingenuous. It's not like there's currently no evidence that the government or the CIA or anyone else sent this kid to try and kill Trump. So saying they, that's fucked up, Hulk.
People who
silent.
But not because you were. What are you scared? You're not scared of shit. There's a lot of people who, up until this moment, until someone tried to take his head off, just didn't really want to spend their time having that conversation.
And for clarity, I do not believe for even a second that Hulk Hogan was trying to treat the shooter as non-binary, and as far as I'm aware, they were not. Okay, for anyone who was thinking that.
Conversation. You see the fire that it brings to your porch when you put a sign up. Then you got to deal with all the feedback, the hatred, this, that, and now it becomes your life. It consumes your life. How much have you done over the past 6 days, or however long it's been since you spoke at RNC, related to this topic? It is now ingrained in your being.
Yeah.
So, like, you're not a coward for having not gotten into it, but now it feels like people are being called to because he got shot at, which I understand completely.
Well, the whole vibe's changed because, you know, like usually when I walk in, like the arena last night, the chants will go, Hogan, Hogan, as soon as I come in, you know. And I've been to a couple UFC fights where they'll be in that rest hold, or I don't know exactly all the terminology, but a guy will go behind somebody and try to put him in a rear naked choke. He won't quite get him, or if they're against the cage, the whole crowd will start going, Hogan. I'm like, holy shit, you know. But last night we walked in, it was like USA, USA, and then all of a sudden they put the camera on me and my wife Sky, and the whole place was going F Joe Biden. That was before you guys came out. The whole building was going F Joe Biden. I was like, okay, this has changed a little bit.
Well, that's kind of what he's saying. You know, now it's at least
Joe Biden is not connected to the shooting. Just for context, they're just divisive people. Like, okay, I would not personally hold it against the DNC if, like, they had chanted F Trump or fuck Trump at the DNC. I would not personally really care. But, like, I do think it says something that this is what a MAGA crowd is like versus what a Democrat crowd is like. And I'm not even huge on the Democrats.
Momentarily kind of ingrained in your brand, because you did go to the RNC and fired up those Republicans. You ripped your shirt off.
Yeah. I didn't want to freak them out too bad because they made me go in the back and rehearse, and I've never rehearsed anything, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, even the matches, I don't.
Hulk Hogan. There's a reason I was bad at acting and wrestling.
I never talked about a match.
I heard this. We'll get into all of that.
No, but the whole thing was, I'm in the back and they got a plexiglass podium, and there's like 20 jabronis sitting in there. I don't even know who the hell they were. And all of a sudden, the lady was really nice. All the people were really nice. And they had a teleprompter in front of me and one on each side. You know, they said, we want to time this. I'm like, well, how much time do I have?
Tough.
You know, and so I tried to do what they wanted me to do. I couldn't do it, man. Then I started losing my confidence. I started freaking. And I knew they were all scared that I was going to, you know, blow it when I went out there. And Vo was cool. He knows what I'm up to, but it was kind of weird because when the stage manager goes, he's out there for 6 minutes and he hasn't read the teleprompter yet. We can't believe they haven't jerked him off the stage. I kind of pushed it, but bro, I only gave it 50%. I mean, now that I know I can get away with that crap, if I go talking, I'm a hammer it, bro. Because once I get out there and I start thinking, my mind goes some really weird places, bro. You know, I had some crazy stuff I was going to say. Sky was scared to death because she knows anything will come out of my mouth.
I can't wait to hear this 100%.
Yeah. She goes, I'm scared.
It's true. Anything can come out of his mouth, including the N-word.
Scared, you know, because I don't know what's going to come out of your mouth. I said, I'll try to do the best I can. But yeah, it was fun, man. But I felt that those people, you know, believed in what I was trying to say about Trump, you know, so it was kind of cool to feel that vibe.
In a way, this is all stuff that is an attempt to rehabilitate his character and, like, get him back to an audience. And Logan Paul is complicit in helping this racist man, get back into the spotlight.
I also feel like there's a little bit of a course correction here out of the Trump camp and out of the Republican side to bring about that unity that you spoke about earlier, being a little bit more of an accepting conservative base. Yo, if you want to come to our side, we'll accept you. We don't. Mark Zuckerberg last week said that.
Was that him or the robot?
No, it was. I think it was the real him. I don't think it was the clone. I think they actually got
this
Zuckerberg.
one did seem like Mark himself.
He said, man, seeing Trump, you know, get hit and throw his hand up, one of the most badass things I've ever seen.
Bar for bar. Bar for bar, he copied my tweet.
And you saw a couple people online say, like, fuck him, we don't want him. He's been against us since day one. Stay on that side. But the majority of the base has said, listen, you want to come over here? We'll take you. Especially someone like Mark Zuckerberg.
I've also noticed that even just personally. I think we had him on our podcast. I tweeted because I thought this assassination survival was also one of the most badass things, if not the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life. And I got some comments myself, like, you switched up. What about the comments you made about Trump back in 2020? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, is it okay to like?
See, this is the kind of shit. This is why I hated the assassination attempt. What you guys can't see is there's also a cat off the side of the camera. But because that's the thing is that the assassination attempt really didn't do anything but help Trump. How much does it help Trump? Hard to say. We are getting the opinions of some of the dumbest people alive currently. Well, some of the most disingenuous and dumbest people alive.
Change? Like, what if I change my mind? Is that cool with you, or am I like solidified in your mind to just be this one thing? But you're right. I felt like, not to get like into the politics too much.
We're here, brother.
But
We're here, brother.
I did feel like that speech at the RNC it felt more about like unity rather than like I'm attacking my opponent, which had been the angle.
Not true. Not true at all. That is a wild take. Like saying things like, what is it? What did he call them? The Trumpites?
Yeah.
Saying things like the Trumpites are going to run wild over this country that's not unifying language. That is highly like specifically tribal language. He was using tribalistic language. That's the opposite of unity, guys. The opposite. If I'm not lazy about it, maybe I'll edit in some of his statements into this. But Jesus.
I love that.
Yeah. A lot of the haters, a lot of people that don't get it. It's like, I was saved when I was 14 years old. I accepted Christ as my Savior when I was 14 years old. Then I derailed, of course, because I played in a rock and roll band for 10 years.
That devil's music.
That carnage. And then I got in the wrestling business. I said, oh my God, these wrestlers party twice as hard as musicians. Holy smokes, it's going to be great.
What do you think? Wrestlers party harder than musicians?
Yes.
I mean, they'd have to because of the pain.
I have been to parties with like artists and musicians, and I've been to wrestler parties. I have never been more terrified, like waking up not remembering how I got anywhere, than I have after drinking all night with a bunch of wrestlers.
Even compared to like drinking all night with a bunch of punks?
Dude, no, because the party ends eventually with punks. People get to go to sleep. Wrestlers don't go to sleep.
Oh, Jesus. No wonder they're all crazy.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when I got remarried to Sky and, she was a believer and we got the kids baptized, we got baptized, a lot of my old friends goes, he hasn't changed a bit. We know Hogan. We know he's, it's a work. He's scamming, brother.
Everything Hogan does is a work.
And Logan doesn't know that because I get the feeling Logan's not as inside as he thinks he is.
I mean, Logan is... What's amazing about Logan Paul is that Logan Paul is the type of person that when you work in sales, you're excited to get on the phone because you know that you can just hype this dumb motherfucker up and sell him whatever you want. Oh my God. You know what? I know why he keeps that guy there.
To laugh at his jokes.
Well, to laugh at his jokes, and also because he needs someone that makes him look smart.
Yeah, because that guy's dumb as shit. I don't know who he is, but he doesn't seem like he's got a whole lot of his own thoughts.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything going on.
Because I did run pretty hard. I was the leader of the pack for about 20 years. All my brothers are dead. So I would go to the edge and go, whoa, it's too far down for me. But, I did run pretty hard for a while,
It's so funny sitting with you just candidly. I get the same kind of feeling I get when like Arnold Schwarzenegger sat here. Is like, there's just so much.
Logan,
I don't even know where to like start
this conversation. We've ever had on our show of 500 episodes that I've once played with a miniature version of for hours on end. Brother, I grew up playing with this man, twisting his arms off, making his arms go up and down like this. This is a fucking legend.
Yeah, for sure.
We've had almost 500 episodes on the show. We've been doing the show for 6 years. Trump, Schwarzenegger. Dude, this is one of the craziest fucking guests. Really. So yes, I agree with you.
I don't even know where to start.
Well, speaking of those darn figures, man, and January 23rd.
Wait, is he drinking both? Is guy in the alien shirt drinking both the drinks on next to him?
Probably.
That's what it looks like.
1984, I beat the Iron Sheik. So fast forward 40 years later to this January, and Mattel went crazy with the action figures. I made a whole bunch of stuff. And even though I'm not wrestling and I'm not one of the young guys like your brother here is, I still get the number one selling action figure in the world. They've done like 70 different action figures of me, and the only one that they ever canceled was the vibrating one, because I had a vibrating Hulk Hogan action figure. They said,
Sky's like, I still have mine.
Oh yeah, wow, that's strong, brother. Wow, that's strong.
In fairness, I assume that it was a line of vibrating action figures.
Yeah, it was a WCW line,
and I assume they canceled all of them.
Yep.
Not just yours.
Those are very valuable action figures.
Oh, yeah?
If you have, especially if they're still in the box, it's a lot.
Oh, yeah?
Because the things that make action figures expensive are like the most random shit. Like, if an action figure doesn't sell well, the Walmart and all them usually just throw them out So like a lot of like the shittiest action figures are the most valuable ones because there's not a lot of them floating around.
No
because...
one tried to save them. You know what that means though is that you need to go dumpster dive action figures at your local Walmarts, the ones nobody wants, and then see if they go up in price in the next few years.
She held on to one.
I love it. I love it.
Oh man, I had one of yours that stretched.
Yeah,
that was my favorite one, dude.
That's crazy.
I am so impressed with anyone who can be relevant for that long. That's got to be.
Yeah, no, he is drinking both of them.
Yeah.
The guy in the yellow shirt is drinking both the primes. He's got.
So Logan still has not ingested prime in any noticeable way the entire time.
He's just drinking that cold brew. Hogan has his own beer.
He and his brother almost stopped talking to each other because Logan showed up at one of Jake's boxing matches with a prime that wasn't opened, and they told him, "Hey, you can't fucking do that because Celsius is sponsoring this event." And Logan like had like a little meltdown in the fucking lobby about it.
It's only the most obvious shit ever.
Yeah.
Be like the hardest thing about any of these industries that we're in is just like you've been doing it for so long and you're still at the top. I think because of the way you impacted
he's not at the top. What do you mean he's at the top? He's not even wrestling right now.
He hasn't wrestled in decades.
He literally
he one of the first things he said was like that all his joints are metal now.
He hasn't wrestled since 2012 as far as I can tell. I mean, with a cursory Google search, but still, Jesus. Or at least on television, that's when he stopped. And he went out on TNA. His last match was at TNA when it wasn't even big.
Yeah, when it was on a downswing because of him mostly. Because he made them get rid of the 6-sided ring that everyone liked.
That's what happened?
Yeah, that's why they had a 4-sided ring for a while, because Hulk Hogan said he didn't like the 6-sided ring and he threatened to quit. So Dixie Carter acquiesced and they had a 4-sided ring for a while. They have a 6-sided ring again now, but that's why they had a 4-side for a while.
Hulk Hogan is strangely poisoned to like business at a certain point.
In the industry. You're like one of the founding fathers of wrestling. You're probably on every wrestling.
Not a founding father of wrestling.
Wrestling has been a thing since the 1800s, dude.
That is a wild statement.
Because Logan doesn't know shit about wrestling.
There's Mount Rushmore of wrestlers.
Oh, dude, come
Gosh,
on.
who knows, man?
100%.
Now, to be fair, being on the Mount Rushmore of wrestlers would be different than being a founding father of it.
Yeah.
I could see someone putting him there.
It would not surprise me at all to know if Logan Paul outed himself as thinking wrestling did not exist before the 1980s.
Wouldn't be surprising.
There's a few haters out there.
Like who? Bret Hart?
Why is he so bitter?
Brett hates everybody.
Why is he so
Brett
bitter?
hates Ev. It's not me. It's Flair. It's Vince. You know, I'll never work for Vince again after what happened to my family. And then he's back. You know, it just never ends with him. And I love Brett to death, man. I started with Brett. I remember when I was in Atlanta, I was in the business about 3 years, and I was like 330 pounds, almost 340. All natural. Anyway, and I just remember.
Not even Hulk Hogan can say that with a straight face anymore.
He used to live across the hall of me, and when I was working for Channel 17, what was it? The Crockett promotion. That I was so big, Brett, I'd wrestle 3 guys at once, so I'd pick all 3 of them up in a bear hug and just ragdoll them, you know? Yeah. And Brett was one of them, you know? And I'd throw him down. But we were just all getting started, so it was all fun. But then we got rolling, and he just, man, it's just, he says, I destroyed his career. You know, it's like, okay, all right, whatever. You know, I just don't get it, man, because I love him to death. He's a good guy, and he was a great asset to the business. You know,
it makes me sad seeing these clips of him just like shit on everyone that he used to work with and work for,
crazy.
because like
Logan, you really don't understand the history here.
Yeah, like most of Bret Hart's family is dead,
and a lot of people in wrestling are some of the grimiest, greasiest, most untrustworthy people,
especially back then.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Bret Hart is right about everything that Bret Hart says, but Bret Hart has a lot of reasons to be bitter and to like talk shit on a lot of people.
Yeah.
He was a fantastic wrestler, but that bitter taste in his mouth it leaves a nasty taste in my mouth to watch, like as a fan of, like, why so angry after all these years?
Yeah,
like,
Logan, shouldn't the nasty taste be the people who mistreated Bret Hart? Shouldn't the nasty taste be not having the safety standards to keep his brother alive? Like, how bitter do you think the taste is in his mouth? Just standing up for the industry over a human being.
Let it go.
The vibe, similar vibes and similar energy, like attracts like. So when you talk that, you attract more of that hatred and that negativity, and it's not good, man. It's time to switch up, man, and be positive and happy and love people. It's.
I don't think people get that. I feel like people always say they want happiness and they want positivity, but they don't understand that the only way to get that is to put it out. Yeah. You put that stuff out there, it comes back to you. You greet someone with a smile, all of a sudden.
Somebody literally just said this. Now he's squawking it back like a good little fucking parrot. Like, Jesus Christ, he's a terminal yes man now.
I mean, that's where motivated positivity will get you. Yeah. Being Logan Paul's yes man. Yeah. So you got to suck up to Hulk Hogan, who, in fairness, I genuinely do believe that he is a huge fan of.
Yeah. Like he looks like he's about my age ish. So like NWO is a thing then.
Like he's practically jizzing in his shorts right now.
Yeah.
He's so thrilled to be seeing Hogan.
And they're smiling back at you.
You got it.
It's so funny how much wrestling has changed since you started. And I am like the newest guy in wrestling, like the newest generation of it. And I think
he hasn't wrestled until he got signed. He's never been a wrestler before that point. So it's not like he's been grinding on the indies forever and he knows and he's seen a shift in the culture.
Like as a wrestler, he has so much privilege over other wrestlers.
Yeah, he didn't have to go to developmental first. He didn't have to grind on indies to get noticed by WWE to even get a chance to go to their fucking developmental.
There's so many things he has not had to do because he was already famous when he started.
Yeah. Like he didn't even have to do NXT. Like he just straight to Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, straight into pay-per-views.
Yeah,
no big deal.
I think it'll probably even change from now and then until 10 years from now.
Yeah.
But like it is funny how like I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2".
Right, he is pulling all of this out of his ass, and I bet you he doesn't even get dressed with the other guys. I guarantee you, this fucker has his own locker room.
I would not be surprised. Maybe his own trailer.
Like, Ronda Rousey got her own locker room, and that's Ronda Rousey. Like Logan Paul has way more people on the internet who think he's cool than Ronda Rousey does. But Ronda Rousey's Ronda Rousey, so who knows?
I don't dislike Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I also don't. It seems like there's an okay person under there. It's just she's got to calm the fuck down.
She got some baggage.
Yeah.
210, 220. Yeah. And well, people say they mean like the comments usually like, yo, you're bigger in person. But when you guys wrestled, you guys were huge, and you're saying you were even just a medium-sized guy.
Yeah.
And I think in like a blanket statement, the style from at least when you wrestled to now, these over-the-top personalities to now, I think maybe a more tactical, moveset-based, physicality-based, matchmaking athleticism style takes
people who can actually wrestle.
I mean, I will say this: old wrestling was way more into the psychological aspect than the look at what I can do, see that it is impressive. Than now. And then you got companies like AEW where that's all they do. It's just this guy from this place whose thing is he wears basketball shorts and just says I'm the best in the world over and over again. He's gonna wrestle the other guy with basketball shorts that says he's the best in the world over and over again. And then that's it. They're just gonna wrestle because to see who actually is the best in the world in the basketball shorts. I don't fucking know. But at the same time, the WWE is still very theatrical. So, once they sign people from the indies who are used to working at like breakneck speed, this close to just being MMA style wrestling, they make them go to developmental to calm them down and teach them what a fucking rest hold is. So I don't even know where Logan gets off saying like, man, I just noticed like when I work, it's so much more different. It's like he only knows the WWE way. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all he knows. It's not like he was grinding in Mexico with a bunch of dudes flipping in circles around him.
Fucking Logan Paul.
Takes precedent. Do you see that happening? And do you have any opinions about the way wrestling has changed and evolved?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. I mean, the wrestlers, back in the day, if you're a wrestler, you had to have the look, huge arms and a big belly, basically. So you look like a wrestler. And like before I went to do the Rocky 3 movie, if you came to my house, my mother would go, all right, stand against the wall. And she'd get her little pencil and she'd put your height up there and put your name. So when I went to do the Rocky movie, I was 6'7", and I weighed 330 pounds. I had a 34-inch waist. I was in crazy shape.
That's crazy.
Fast forward 35 years later, right before my mother passed, She goes, Terry, get up the wall, get on the wall. So she measured me again. I was like 6'4", and like right now I weigh 265. That's what I weighed in 9th grade, so it's kind of like I'm still bigger than most of the wrestlers. You're a big guy, but a lot of them are smaller. So it's kind of weird because a lot of the smaller guys, have kind of like went from mid-card players to tag team players. Now they're the main event guys. Yeah. Where when I was in the business, if some of these guys came along that were, under 6 feet and 180, 185 pounds, they would have never even been.
It was like
business.
the NBA almost. Like
but it's.
And part of that was because of Vince McMahon's obsession with giant muscle men.
Yeah, he had his own bodybuilding show. It was called I don't know. It was a very unoriginal title. It was just dudes flexing and little show thongs or whatever the fuck they call them.
Yeah, I have news for you, Vince McMahon. You are at least a little gay.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
At least a little bit. You're way too into the male form. You're like, it's creepy. Like, both men and women are heavily sexualized in the WWE.
Yep.
And it's very noticeable. That's what Vince McMahon liked. That's why big guys always got the most of the big jobs. That's why stories about little guys under Vince McMahon were normally pretty fucked up. Like that time that Brock Lesnar was just tormenting, what is that guy's name? Shannon Moore?
Yeah.
Just tormenting Shannon Moore, who was at the time like the small, like he was my height and he weighed like 100 and like what?
70 maybe.
Yeah.
He was a little, Shannon Moore's never been big.
Yeah. And so like that's, like when you think about it, it's like that story's fucked up.
Even when he got a bunch of tattoos and went to TNA and bulked up a little bit, he's still, no way he was over 200 pounds. Like that, he's always been a tiny, tiny man.
So like part of this is that Vince McMahon had types.
Yeah.
That he liked.
Yep. The one exception to his big muscle boy rule was Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some rumors about what those two would do. Mostly from people who hated Shawn, though, so you got to take it with a grain of salt because all wrestlers from Hogan's there are kind of blowhard assholes. I don't, and Hogan gets a lot of shit for lying. He's just the one who does it the most. All wrestlers from that era lie their asses off.
Because you have to.
Yeah, because that's what they were trained to do. You were on all the time back then.
Never tell the truth.
It's changed a lot, but the stuff that's going on in the ring and the athleticism and the moves they're doing, man. I always tell everybody, it's kind of like keep those boots on the ground, brother. Because some people can dive off the top and do flips and go out. It doesn't mean anything. It's all about storytelling. Now, if you do that, and you're telling a good story. That changes the game.
Yeah.
But to draw money, you gotta tell a great story to keep getting people back in the seats. But it's changed a lot.
AEW's attendance records show that. Like if there's no story.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no match psychology in the matches, no one gives a fuck.
The rare out-of-ring unscripted W for Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
A lot now because there aren't that many attractions. He's got an opportunity to be a huge attraction in this business.
Yep.
But usually the attractions like Stone Cold and Andre the Giant and some guy named Hulk Hogan, back in the day, they were the star. Now the production is the star. Yep. The TV show's the star. Yep. There's interchangeable parts. One guy with brown hair that's 6 feet tall gets hurt, you bring another one for the performance center, give him a push, nobody knows the difference. And so it's a little bit different, but they're always looking for that attraction, and so watching you, my brother, you have an opportunity to be the next big attraction in this business simply because you got your shit together. I've never seen anybody get this as quick as you have. I've never seen anybody.
Yeah, it is. I've said this before, but when I heard he signed a contract, I was like, fuck, he's going to be really good, isn't he? And yeah, he is. It's obnoxious.
We will give Logan Paul this. He is good at wrestling, which is annoying.
Like all his promos are kind of samey, but I feel like that's why they hired him in the first place. He's fucking Logan Paul. He's the online guy.
Yeah, they want him to play himself because that's who's famous.
And he's shitty at acting.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much their only option for him to get any kind of over. To
be fair, Hulk Hogan is shitty at acting.
Yeah.
As a child, I saw this movie. I think it was called Urban Commando. It's about, it somehow had a stacked cast with people like Shelley Duvall in it, and like I remember as a kid like seeing it and enjoying it, but also being aware of the fact that it was kind of cheesy and stupid. As an adult, I was shocked to find out it's one of his best rated movies.
I'm a wrestling fan since I was in the business for years. I've never seen anybody pick up on it as quick as you have, and your stuff looks fucking believable. There's no holes in your work, so just don't get hurt.
Yeah, that is.
I remember the moment where I was like, oh, damn it. Logan Paul is good at wrestling. It was when him and that, what is his name? Ricochet or something?
Yeah, Ricochet. Yeah.
Like double arm barred each other, like super high in the air.
Yeah, springboard into the yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck, that's a spot. That's a good fucking spot. Damn it, he is gonna be good at this.
Like, to Logan's credit, like I can tell he does watch wrestling. I just don't think he absorbs all of what he should from it. I think he has his jock boy mindset, so he's looking specifically at the physicality of it and not the facials or like selling. Or
Plus even like the storytelling he's aware of is going to be on a superficial level. I would bet you money.
Like, if Hogan brings up psychology at all, I would not be surprised if Logan Paul would be like, "Buh?" Like, just look at him like and try to change the subject.
In that case, I fucking hope Hulk Hogan does that.
Is the big thing, huh? Well, first off, honored to hear that. Thank you.
I told your brother that when I saw him in Miami a month ago, baby.
Yeah, he called me. He said he told me that. Man, it's such an honor hearing that from you, obviously.
Okay, how do you think it is in terms of us being able to understand them so far? So far, I'm tracking.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
And I think I've recently kind of had that realization, and I try to say this humbly, but also not. I did like look in the mirror and looked at my craft, and I thought, like, I think I could do this if I actually like devote my time to it. So I did have the conversation with Triple H. I said, hey, I want to be the guy. What do I have to do to be the guy? And I'm gonna start making that run next year, 2025.
Okay.
And I've learned.
Okay, it's official. He's announced it. He's gonna try and do, like,
you're gonna have to put this podcast bullshit up to the back burner for quite a while if you want that to happen, because that means you're gonna have to be on the road. And that means you get. And I don't think everybody's going to be too terribly stoked to have you and your yuckity fuck buddies in the back with you, because I figure they're probably back there with him. And like, if you're going to be on the road, it's one thing if he's only there once every other month to do a match for a pay-per-view. It's another thing when he's there every week. Like, he's going to piss somebody off.
I would not be surprised even if he does go on the road, if it's in a more limited capacity to the other wrestlers.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised at all,
because the more he's around, the familiarity breeds contempt, and he's been there for long enough that I feel like somebody probably isn't a huge fan of his.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, like, the thing is it's so obvious, you know? Like, you're like, yeah, this is exactly how this would play out in wrestling. If he's like, there's going to be some people who are just going to be like, oh, well, I guess he's the new Hogan. He gets to do whatever he wants, and everyone else can eat a dick. Or at least that's the impression Hulk Hogan gives them. About his own performance.
I mean, Hogan saying that sees himself in you is probably the highest compliment Hulk Hogan is capable of giving to anyone who isn't blowing him.
And like, Hulk Hogan, you know what? Maybe that's Hulk Hogan's secret, is that, like, he didn't have to suck off Vince McMahon to get put over. He just had to sell out Jesse Ventura.
Yeah. And sell a lot of merch.
Yeah.
There have been satirical sketches about Vince McMahon, like, leaving you alone if you sell a lot of t-shirts.
Oh, thank God, my t-shirts sales are up. Now Vince McMahon won't try and molest me again.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt, before he died, he did that Firefly Funhouse thing, and he had a puppet Vince with all the other puppets, and Vince comes in ready to fire everybody, and then one of the happy puppets that's friends with Bray handed him a bunch of money, and then and it said "from t-shirts" on like a sticky note on it, and then Vince's like, "Oh, okay," and he just leaves.
Fucking Vince.
Because that's what happened. Bray started moving a bunch of t-shirts, so Vince was like, you can do it however you want. Whatever edgy hot topic crap you want.
The industry is almost entirely t-shirt money.
Yeah.
We need those t-shirts to sell.
Seriously, though, tickets and t-shirts.
We'll be the first people to sell a $500 t-shirt. Actually, what is the most expensive t-shirt we've sold?
Probably something that's signed. But I mean, they do like collabs with like t-shirt labels that are like hip. So like you'll see like a $45 WWE shirt if it's one of those.
Oh my
But
god.
most of them, it's like there's always a fucking sale on the WWE web store. So like you're paying on average like 28 to 30.
Because that $50 shit is markup.
Yep.
It's marked up. They can afford to sell it to you for 25.
Learned so much. Wrestling is the hardest thing I've ever done. I've done a lot. It is by far the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. There are so many skills involved. It is a 360-degree art, as you know. And at the end of the day, like you just said, it always comes back to storytelling.
Yeah.
What is that root of that story you're trying to tell so you can hook people into your arc? But what I don't understand, and I've heard these stories as I'm matchmaking and match building, is your ability to show up on the day and call the match on the spot.
Yeah.
Because how can you tell a story that well on the fly? In my head,
because they were on the road doing 2 or 3 shows a day, Logan. They got a lot of practice because they didn't wrestle once every other month, Logan. He's so dumb.
Also, this just means Logan Paul also doesn't understand what improv is.
Yeah, he did. I can definitely see that.
At least the way I like, even just script my content or anything, I'm mapping out the beats. You know, the exposition, the climax, all this lost moment, like all of that.
Yeah.
And so, how were you able to do that and still tell these incredible stories with your work?
Well, I had a good teacher. I had Andre, who taught me, and he beat the shit out of me for about 8 years. And then I kind of won him over in Japan because I spent half the year in Japan. I'd go to Japan 22 to 24 weeks a year. And,
the thing you have to understand is that in real life, Andre the Giant hated Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, or at best case scenario, it was indifferent to Hulk Hogan. They were not best friends.
But now, after his death, Hulk Hogan has begun to claim that him and Andre the Giant were besties.
And Roddy Piper, which is also somebody who did not like Hulk Hogan.
Am I willing to believe that Roddy Piper may have softened towards him later in life? Possibly.
Maybe. Probably not, though.
I mean, once they get out of the room with each other, maybe it's easier. But still, Andre the Giant, not the hugest fan of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, Andre was famous for having a very small circle of friends.
They were, at best case scenario, just not as close as Hulk Hogan likes to pretend that they were.
Yeah, if you weren't playing cards with Andre backstage before the show, you probably didn't like him very much. And Hulk Hogan doesn't have any playing cards with Andre stories. So
I worked for Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling over there. They were a company called Pride also. So when you walk in the locker room, everything was written in Japanese, and they wrote the card out every night, and you never knew who you were wrestling because I couldn't read the Japanese stuff, and you didn't know if it was one of the boys from New Japan Pro Wrestling or it was one of the Pride guys, like Bob Sapp or one of these crazy son of a bitches, So every night, thank God I was young back then. It's like I wasn't afraid to fight anybody back in the day, but it was just different. But Andre pretty much taught me, and one of the weirdest things that happened was when I went to work for Ted Turner, and me and Eric Bischoff get that whole NWO thing going, we tried for like almost 9 years to put Vince out of business, and we were at war because me and Vince is like this love-hate relationship with me and him, and so at the end,
I feel like that's everyone's relationship with Vince McMahon, unless they're all hate.
Yeah,
no one 100% loves Vince because Vince is an asshole.
The day when we came back to the WWE, Vince calls me and goes, I want you to work with The Rock. Well, my goal was to work with Stone Cold Steve Austin and, have a couple-year run with him. As the bad guy, you could beat me every night, and I could lie, slipped on a banana peel, sun was in my eyes. Somebody pissed on my back. I thought it was raining. But I got a million excuses. But when I went back, he wanted me to work with The Rock, and The Rock was on the way out, And so Vince goes, well, Hogan, things have changed, and when you come back, you better bring it. So respectfully, I said, well, yes, sir, I'll bring it. But in my mind, I'm going, brother, if I bring my shit, you're going to have to be asking me to take it back, So then I'm sitting at home, and I had a little warm-up match with Rikishi here in Tampa, and my kids were sitting at ringside. So I told Rikishi, I said, buckle me, reverse it, and charge me, So boom, he reversed it, boom, I hit the buckle, and I forgot he was coming because I said, charge me. So I looked over at my son Nick, I was like, laughing. And all of a sudden, I get this, 380-pound Samoan squash me. I didn't flex. So I broke a couple of my ribs, right? So then I called Vince. I said, bro, broke a couple ribs screwing around. I said, I need a doctor in Toronto when I get there. He goes, oh, well, before he called me Monster. Well, Monster, before you go to Toronto, I need you down in Miami tomorrow. I said, Miami? Why Miami? Well, The Rock wants to rehearse the match. I said, rehearse what? I've never rehearsed anything in my life. What are you talking about? Well, we just want to make sure you can still go. I'm like, all right. So out of respect, I go down.
Not surprised to hear that The Rock and Hulk Hogan have very different work ethics.
Yeah.
That's not shocking. That's not terribly shocking at all.
Also, I think they're talking about a WrestleMania match for I think they're probably talking about 18.
Mm-hmm.
So it was up in Canada. Yeah, that was the one where it was like they just kind of did an old school wrestling match, but since it was such a huge deal that The Rock and Hulk Hogan were in the ring doing anything, like the whole building was just erupting the whole time. So this is one of Hogan's happy moments. Well, but him being like, I broke my ribs. No, NWO was doing like a reunion run during this time. Like he was Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Like after this match, he was red and yellow again. But like him acting like, oh, I was off forever, and then I just came back and did one warm up with Rikishi and broke all my ribs, and I did WrestleMania 18 the next day, and I'm very good. It's such a pointless thing to lie about when there's documented evidence in the form of a television show. Just why would you bother with that, dude?
Because it's Hulk fucking Hogan. Now, I will say, apparently, The Rock is also a bit of an egomaniac. It's turning out.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
But their egomania is just apparently manifest in very different ways.
Yeah.
With The Rock, it's apparently trying to take over the DC universe.
Yep. And then he tried to hijack the WrestleMania main event from Cody Rhodes too. That pissed a lot of people off.
Not shocked. Not shocking at all.
Down in Miami, they got this ring set up in this hot ass warehouse, and thank God the Rock's dad was there, Rocky Johnson, who I traveled with. He's one of my guys, you know. And Pat Patterson.
We think that's true.
Wait, what did he say?
He just said that Rocky Johnson, The Rock's dad, was one of his guys.
I mean, they probably worked together.
He did say he worked with Samoans in the other interview.
Yeah, so they probably knew each other, if nothing else. I don't think they were like best friends though, because no one liked Hogan ever. Well, except Brutus the Barber Beefcake's actually his friend, and then the blonde nasty boy is his actual friend. And that's all I can think of off the top of my head is people who are genuinely friends with Hulk Hogan.
And apparently, whoever that nobody is that runs his store.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah. Oh, Jimmy Hart's pretty good with him still, but Jimmy Hart's like 85 years old now, so
old guys got to stick together. He's probably looked around one day and like, oh shit, everybody's dead but Hogan.
I don't know, where was David Hogan? Like that's how he talks.
Hogan, you and me, we were always best friends, weren't we? Yeah. You're gonna come to my funeral. You're gonna come to my funeral, right there? Yeah, you coming? Gotta be at least one wrestler there, right?
I almost got to meet Jimmy Hart when when I was in the business. Yeah, the guy who booked the company I worked at the most, Compound, RIP Compound. He went on vacation to Tampa and went to Hulk Hogan's store when Jimmy Hart happened to be there and hanging out at the store with Hulk, and like he chatted Jimmy up and tried to book him for a Compound, and Jimmy agreed. And I remember because he messaged like everybody, like, "Oh my God, Jimmy Hart's coming," and he messaged me saying, "Like, Jimmy Hart's coming, and you better not be a fucking idiot, and you better listen to him." I was like, "I'm not gonna try to big dog Jimmy Hart. What are you talking about?" It's because I had a reputation for being kind of a rambunctious little guy getting into mischief, so he didn't want me to frighten Jimmy Hart, who is very old. That's awesome. Then Jimmy Hart canceled because he had to do something with Hulk's restaurant that he forgot about. But I was this close to meeting Jimmy Hart.
What could have been. But that's for those who aren't familiar with the program. Gato here used to be a manager for Compound Wrestling.
Yeah, in Oklahoma. Yep. That was a wild 4 or 5 years.
I would imagine.
Something like that, yeah.
Person was there. And so I got in the ring with The Rock out of respect. I really hadn't seen The Rock since I threw my headband out and he caught it when he was a kid, you know.
That's crazy.
And so now we're in the ring and he's this major star. I got nothing but respect for him because he's really good in the ring, Bo. I watched him. He really has his shit together. So we get there and all of a sudden.
The Rock in many ways has all the like attributes that Hulk Hogan is lacking.
Yeah.
He can wrestle. He has a work ethic. Oh, and he can act to a decent level.
And he will lose to somebody and not be a little bitch about it.
Yeah. Still an egomaniac.
Yeah, but that came later.
And also possibly not as big of an asshole. Although apparently he pees in Gatorade bottles and expects other people to take care of them for him.
Oh, jeez.
Because he doesn't want to leave the set. which raises some questions about exactly where he's going to fill the Gatorade bottles. Is he just whipping it out on set? Like, what's going on here? Deeply problematic. And now, oh God, no. And now I just realized we have a vague measurement for his penis.
Yeah.
Unless he's got really good aim.
And we're talking about, okay, we're going to lock up, and he's telling me, and he's got this whole thing in his head. We're going to lock up, go to the corner. You go through a punch, I'll duck, I'll block it.
Wait, quickly. This is the first time you've ever been through a rehearsal like this.
Yes. In 30 years.
It's shocking. They told me this.
No, shocking. It's not because the way he was explaining the Rikishi match before too. He's like, "Oh, I told him throw me off the buckle and told him in that moment."
Yes, Mike. Yes, they called it on the spot.
Yeah, no, it's how things used to be done. Yeah.
How?
It's insane.
I was just
because
was it
practice.
I was gonna say, like, this is the thing that people don't understand about improv is that, like, even though it's all made up on the spot, you still like practice those moves and you still like learn how to do all those things so that you can, like, in the moment be like, all right, it'd be cool if you just drop me over here, or like, can you springboard into me? I'll catch you.
Yeah, because that's what wrestling school is just learning stuff like that. So you can't, if you're tired and you forgot the actual spot that you're supposed to do, you both have this spot in your head. You can just do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, old heads call it in the ring all the time. People, indies still mostly call it in the ring. I mean, maybe not like the smart marquee indies, but like just regular fucking companies. Yeah, dude, most matches I worked in Oklahoma, like they were calling it in the ring. If there was any big spot, like a dive,
like it's blowing this guy's mind.
Yeah,
it's blowing this guy's mind.
I feel like it don't take much to blow that guy's mind.
That's fair. That's fair. Although it does speak to the generational differences.
Yeah.
Like he's a guy finding out that wrestling is in a way slightly more real than the average person might have guessed.
Yeah. And we're seeing it in real time, and he's not, and like, yeah.
And which is the opposite of how it used to be, where people would be like, what do you mean wrestling's fake?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Or like blowing their mind when they suddenly realize that wrestling is fake.
Dude, the first documented instance of somebody like blowing the lid off the business was like in the 20s. But word didn't get out for shit that quick back then.
In fairness, that's because in the 20s, in fairness, that's not surprising because in the 20s, wrestling was just a way to rob people.
I mean, it could be.
I mean, sometimes, yes, that was the game.
That was like the carniest did that. Like,
yeah, that's why there used to be a curtain behind some wrestling rings, so you could
just crack you, get you close to that, and then just bop you with it, because they didn't have like the rules officially figured out just yet. But like once they did it, they couldn't do that no more, because you couldn't just use whoever walked in anymore.
Oh, back in the day before society had rules.
Yeah, things must have been crazy back then.
Did you know they used to take, the milk companies used to steal the cream out of milks and replace it with emulsified calf brains because they became aware that cream was more valuable than the milk itself, but people still liked cream, so they would make that substitute like calf brain thing, and people started getting real sick because like the brains are the worst part of an animal for you to eat.
Yeah, that's where all the parasites go.
And then sometimes. so people kept getting sick, so they ended up creating regulations for food, and so that they couldn't just do that shit anymore. Society just grows rules. It has to, as people find new ways to fuck each other over.
I just lead the match, bro. I listen with my ears and my heart. I can hear what they want, And so at the end of the day, The Rock's saying, okay, duck this punch, bang, bang, bang. Then get some heat on me, shut me down, duck clothesline, 2 drop kicks over the top, pull me out. Run me in the pole. And he's telling me all this stuff. I'm like, I'm going, you got the whole match planned out? He goes, well, no. He goes, these are all the high spots and all the good stuff. I said, well, what if this doesn't work? And the people shit on it. Are we going to keep doing this? He goes, oh, that'll be fine, this, that, and the other. Sitting in this 100-degree warehouse is Rocky Johnson, Rock's dad, going, Dwayne, listen to Hogan. Dwayne, listen to Hogan. And so Pat Patterson goes, all right, now.
Don't think that happened.
No, because like Rocky Johnson wasn't like in the business like that at this point.
Not only that, but like you'd think if this was a problem The Rock had, and if why wouldn't his dad have said something sooner?
Yeah. And The Rock has always said like, me and my dad didn't have the best relationship. We did kind of made it work toward the end, but like he's like, he wasn't really around a lot when I was a kid because he was always wrestling. And then when I started wrestling, he was retired. and he divorced, and he and my mom got divorced and moved back to Canada, so I didn't see him very often. So Hogan's lying here.
Yeah. So what you're saying to me is that while it's technically possible his father might have been there,
it's possible that he and The Rock had a little like just dry run, like where nobody actually bumps, and they just go like, "I think can you start this?" And then like, because like even call it in the ring shit, like that's why they teach you to do that, is in case like the crowd turns on the match and you're like, okay, well if they're not liking this, they're not gonna like the other shit, and that's when you go to the stuff that you've been drilling over and over and over again.
Now we want you to go through the match. I said, no. I said, if I go through this match now, I'm going to get hurt. There's no way in hell I can wrestle with no people. I need 50, 60, 70,000 people. You know, I can't wrestle.
By the way, this is still with your ribs.
Yeah, but I wasn't selling it, bro. You know, I was all giving tough and shit. I wasn't selling that shit. But anyway, so then we go to Toronto.
What do you mean you weren't selling that? Your ribs were supposed to be broken. You don't have to sell that. It just hurts.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he probably means it in the sense that I wasn't going to tell anybody that I was fucked up.
Okay.
Because like when you're in wrestling school, one of the things they teach you is don't sell a rib, and that just means like if someone fucks with you, don't like freak out and get all pissy, because then they're just gonna keep doing it.
Okay.
Right. We're in the dressing room, and I really don't even like to get dressed in the dressing room with the guy I'm wrestling. You know, because I want things to be organic. I want to be able to feel. I don't like sitting in the dressing room with the guy. It's just something about that. I just like my cooler full of beer. You know, have my few beers and stuff, and then I'm ready to go. And so
it's so old school, man. It's so refreshing.
And that beer for him, he is a real American.
Yeah.
Like I don't. If you ask like who is number one real American, Hulk Hogan's got it.
Okay, so now I try to remember some of these things.
Because he likes beer, he is the real American. Because Hulk Hogan, like, what? How much lead was in this man's drinking water as a child? Like, what?
Yeah. This is just how can somebody be this dumb?
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Things, okay. And all of a sudden, I go out to the ring. Now, I've hit The Rock in the back of the head with a hammer, a ball-peen hammer. I put him in an ambulance. I put chains around the ambulance. I've got in a semi. I ran the ambulance over with a semi. Vince is going to do it again. I run the ambulance over again with a semi. I thought for sure I pissed people off. You know, I tried to do whatever I could to get heat, because I'm Hollywood Hogan. Yeah. You know, the bad guy. You know, Scott Hall, that bullshit.
That makes sense.
So you just mentioned Scott Hall, so now he is immediately negating the thing he said before, by saying like, "Oh, and I was on the couch for so long." And Vince said, "You better bring it, because these two guys, they bring it." And it's like, no, you've been there for you've been back for like a year. This is like a year-long feud, dude.
God bless you. But anyway, so now I come out to the ring at WrestleMania 18, and they cheer like crazy. I'm like, oh shit, we got a problem. Yeah. Now he comes out and they boo the piss out of me. And so we start the match like you want to do, and all of a sudden, as he's hitting me, they're just booing the shit out of me. You know, all of a sudden, thumb in the eye, throat, whatever. I said, slow down, brother. Yeah. So I said, it takes a few minutes to get this back on track. So I started listening, you know, and we got it back on track. But then once we got on track, man, he was perfect. He pivots, you know, and he makes the transitions, and he knows placement, the timing, you know, the balance, everything he's got is spot on. So it was just like a pleasure to work with him. I wish we had never talked, you know, because we really didn't do any of that shit we talked about.
So we just went
so we just basically, and actually usually I call the match in the ring.
But Hulk Hogan is also underplaying the value that he could have gotten, the value that he did actually get out of rehearsing, which was just the chance for him and The Rock to just have the reps, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
In fairness, I've seen the match that they're talking about here. It is very good.
Oh, okay.
And it demonstrates that like they aren't doing like crazy bumps or nothing. Like it's a very like old school kind of match, like 70s and 80s type match. And like people are going fucking nuts for it. Like I remember that was
is it true they were booing The Rock?
It was an even split, because the whole point of the match was to turn Hulk Hogan babyface again. So they could start selling Hulkamania merch again. So like the whole the match ended, The Rock wins, and then Hulk Hogan gets up and he's like, "Oh no, you beat me up, brother." And then they shake hands, and like Hogan's like gives The Rock his seal of approval, like, "You're the cool guy now. You got my respect, me, Hulk Hogan, like the guy who used to be what you are now." And then he did that was the whole point of the match.
Storytelling wise, that seems like a very weird babyface turn.
Yeah.
Oh, I was the bad guy, but now, because I think you're cool, now I am cool.
And then the next week, he was wearing the red and yellow and saying, "Oh, let me tell you something, brother."
All I needed was The Rock to kick my ass.
And then for some reason, I still don't understand why this choice was made. His entrance music was Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix.
Okay. Such weird storytelling.
Yeah.
All right. But he was so good, he was talking to me too. You know, somebody's that good, I listen, brother, you know, because I can learn on the spot and they're really quick. But that's how it works. You know, you just gotta, you know, it's an art form, you know, and once it's all instinct, you know, and it's heartfelt. And once you really figure it out, and once you get out there, then you can call your own destiny. Then you can, you know, make the right deal for yourself. You know, once you get to that place where you're a real attraction, sometimes you get bigger than the company, and that can be a problem.
Man, I strive to reach that level of mastery.
No, you got an opportunity to do that, brother, because you should not be any type of champion except the world's champion at this point. You need to make that quick transition, and if they're smart and Triple H is smart, that transition.
I wonder how the wrestling community will feel about this comment.
Well, I mean, the problem if he is serious about actually being on the road all the time and dedicating more time to it, they still aren't going to be happy because there are no Logan Paul fans like actually like buy his shit and were mad when he had to drop the United States Championship to LA Knight. Like, there's nobody like that I know about. So, like, it's just, and now he's in this lawsuit thing. So it's like, I don't know if they're going to let him come back until that lawsuit's over, but maybe they will. I don't know. But they have to have something for him. They don't have anything for him right now. I feel like I can't think of anybody that's like, yeah, throw him in a feud with Logan Paul, who will do the brass knuckles bullshit like every other match he's done. But they're not like firing him because there's still a fucking Prime logo in the center of the ring for everything.
That's true.
And then Prime bottles at ringside.
Like
a comedy spot where
that's actually like that. If I was a wrestler, that's why I would hate him.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people
because the fact of the matter is that he has influence because he is a sponsor. So he not only brings his fans, but like basically it's like you're being forced to play with like an owner, not a full owner, like just a very small guy. Maybe he's got some stock, but in this situation, he is buying his way in. He represents this is a business partnership that he is wrestling. It's not, none of the other wrestlers have that leverage. Yeah, not a single one of them.
Yeah, between that, like his shitty drink being everywhere, him bringing his fucking chuckle fuck friends in the back with him, and you know they're probably doing shit you're not supposed to, like mark out the wrestlers and ask for selfies and shit. You're not supposed to do that. I guarantee you they do.
This is why wrestlers need to unionize. This kind of shit is why you need to unionize.
Decision needs to be made this year.
You hear that, Triple H? Also,
no, we're
going to Netflix as well, right? And the demos are going to overlap. Social media kid combined with the wrestling era demographic, and I think it could be the perfect intersection.
It is. That's what the next attraction should be.
Dude,
I would not be surprised at all if he primarily did Netflix episodes.
Yeah,
Netflix shows.
Yeah.
Shows that they know are going to be like either referenced on Netflix or actually featured on Netflix. I don't know what the Netflix deal looks like.
I know that they're going to be they have that's where Monday Night Raw is going to be. It's going to be shown on Netflix now.
Okay, so
and pay-per-views, I think for pay-per-views they're staying with NBC, and NBC still has streaming rights to all of their library.
Not surprised. Okay.
At least I hope so, because I don't want to like God's sake.
That's why you watch Peacock at all.
Yeah. I mean, every now and then I'll want to like rewatch like Parks and Rec or something. They got old shit up now. I might look through that, see if they got anything good. But
I highly recommend the movie Monkey Man, which is also on there. I swear to God, this is not a commercial for Peacock.
Yeah.
I want to put in the work. I told him. Yeah. Like they call me a part-timer. That offends me, but I get it. I'm also expensive, you know. So
that's cool. Well, you know what?
Of course you are. Of course you are. Unionize.
How would I put this kindly? there's how would I say this and not get heat on myself?
No, you got.
I think you've already said several things that are going to get heat on yourself.
Yeah.
I haven't checked Twitter to make sure, but I have a feeling.
There's not a number they can't write a check for, brother.
No, I know that. But I also don't want to be greedy because it isn't entirely about the money for me. Like I just want to feel like my time is being valued. That's all. I'm not going to write up a check for that because I really do love it.
Yeah, well, that's
here's
cool.
Another weird thing about Logan. I feel like he doesn't like throw his weight around in the back, because I think he understands that wrestlers are very like can fuck you up.
Yeah, no, he doesn't seem like blatantly disrespectful.
It's just he's getting treatment that other people deserve way more than him. That's gonna breed some resentment. And also him being him, he's gonna do something to piss somebody off. If he's gonna be on the road with everybody all the time. He's got enough money. I don't think we gotta worry about him like carpooling with the wrong group and him rubbing everyone the wrong way. But he's probably gonna like fly private jets everywhere.
Hey guys, get ready also for Logan Paul's podcast to be almost entirely just him talking to whichever wrestlers he's traveling with.
Yeah. It would not surprise me if you tried to do like an IRL stream like in the car on the way to a town and everybody's just pissed at him. Super chat donations being read aloud.
Every episode of this show will now take place inside his giant private like RV like thing that he travels between the shows.
I could see him getting a bus.
Like in his, essentially having his own bus.
Because Cody Rhodes has his own bus. I mean, Cody Rhodes got it from a vodka company that he is endorsement guy for. Yeah, Cody Rhodes has a podcast where a section of the podcast is them talking about how awesome Wheatley vodka is. And I'm just like, Cody, what are you gonna do? Like, it's just wrestling. Eventually, you're gonna be with somebody who can't be around booze.
Oh shit!
You're pretty much resigning yourself to the guys who drink, Cody.
Well,
his podcast isn't bad. Like for what, like Cody seems like a nice fella. Grew up around wrestlers, so he's not like marking out at all. It's like, yeah, they don't talk about wrestling sometimes. They just talk about regular stuff occasionally. It always goes back to wrestling because they're wrestlers, but
it's the majority of their life experience at a certain point.
Yeah, I've been on the road with wrestlers tons of times where we're like, let's talk about anything but wrestling, and we will for a minute, but then without fail, so hey, you remember that fucking match that this dude did? And then we're talking fucking work again the whole way home. That's how it goes. Dude.
I thought we agreed to talk about model airplanes. Remember the time we had that match in the airplane hangar? God damn it.
Together, man.
Yeah.
They really do.
$5 billion Netflix deal.
I think you need an entourage, like a Paul Bearer.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, he'll definitely be on Raw. That's the one he'll be on.
Yeah. I mean, he is now.
Oh, right.
Because it's kind of like it was when I was in high school again now, where like Raw is the one with like more like stories going that have your attention, and SmackDown's like got the most like sick ass like matches going on. They're pulling more numbers, but no one talks about it because Raw is Raw.
The period where I watched watched wrestling the most consistently was when SmackDown was the big place.
Yeah.
Probably needs Hulk Hogan cut his
because Triple H, that was back when Triple H was champion like all the fucking time. So like some people just straight up stopped watching Raw because they didn't want to watch Triple H promos for 15 minutes every time. And in fairness, I do remember that being thoroughly tedious. Then Ric Flair would be there to go woo to break up the monotony.
That's what you're here for, Rick.
Sorry, Jeff, you're out. Sorry, Jeff, you're out. But you can still hand me the brass knuckles.
No, here's the deal, bro. Triple H is a very smart man. He gets it. He knows what time it is.
So I wanted to ask about the difference in leadership now. Because Triple H has, they're calling it, what are they saying?
You know, it'd be funny is anyone watching this episode trying to turn up the speed on us? Because then,
oh man,
that shit would be ridiculous.
Chipmunk Logan, Hulk Hogan would be funny.
Hashtag Logan Paul the Vec era, they're calling it, and I think it's accurate. It's indicative of the times, but things have changed since Vince was around, and I only know that because they tell me. Obviously, like I was the last superstar that Vince signed before he resigned, and I hear how different.
Of course, it was fucking Vince. Of course, it was Vince.
The change in leadership is, and now at least,
you know what? I don't really care.
There seems to be a lot more creative freedom.
So I'm gonna,
for the stars to use and do what they want. Are you seeing that change? Do you like it? Do you think it's good for the business?
Well, so I'm not interacting with you guys now. I mean, if I was wrestling, I could really answer that question. But all I know is, working with Vince for all that time, now working with Nick Khan, because I signed a 5-year deal. I'm 71 years old in a few weeks, but I signed a 5-year deal for, the licensing and merchandising stuff and, like the ambassador stuff. And you do stuff for WrestleMania. I just love doing it, But it's definitely different because with Vince, hey Vince, let's do the NASCAR thing. I need 6 more monster trucks. Or, hey brother, I know twin referees. Let me think about it, monster. Vince was kind of like, I'd sit in a room with him. It was just him and I would be working a year backwards storyline wise. And I'd say, what about the 6-month period if I put the belt on Piper? And let me think about it. He would do this and stare like this for like an hour and not say a word to me. I just, and he was soul searching and thinking about the final decision. And I just remember working with him, I could go back and forth with him and we'd agree to disagree. But most of the time, I said, Vince, I feel it, bro. You're not out there. but they eventually did get out there. But what I feel with the leadership is working with Nick Khan now.
Yeah.
He's more, for me, just business cut and dry.
Yep.
He doesn't know creative. I don't deal with creative too much unless I'm talking to Bruce Pritchard or something, and ask me a question about finish or something like that. I really don't get involved too much. Just working with the two different heads of state, if you call it that. Nick Khan is strictly business. So I said, hey, brother, this artwork that hasn't been used for 35 years, I need it for my real American beer. And so Nick Khan goes, let me get back to you in a couple days. I said, okay, fine, no rush. So when he calls me back, we talked, and all of a sudden, he goes, well, you can use the artwork, this and that and the other, but I don't want to say the number, but I need X amount of percentage of every $1 million you make. I said, well, instead of me, paying you guys hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars and potentially millions of dollars, I can go out for $300 and they can have, someone do this artwork again, reasonably similar, maybe even reasonably confusing. But I wouldn't do that. I'd do something a little different. Then Nick goes, oh, let me just give it to you. I said, good, because we're on the same team, brother. We're on the same team. So Nick was really cool. Yeah. He was just sitting down and talking with him, and he made it really easy on me, and Vince was great too, but I just don't know if Vince would make that quick of a decision, especially when I pulled up short and was, hold on, brother. I'm asking for a caricature. It's just some simple ass artwork. Yeah. Nick got it and knew that I could have something else drawn up the next day. Man, but he's been very easy and supportive and helpful. And when he came up to me the first time I met him with his wife and kids, his whole rep was, oh my God, I've been a Hulkamaniac all my life. I grew up watching it. And I said to his wife, how do you put up with this? She goes, oh, all he does is talk about Hulkamania and Hulk Hogan, shows our kids the matches. So he gets it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm on the team, and I just wanted them to know that they have my support, especially for guys like this and the new guys that are coming in.
Wait, who are we talking about again?
I think they're talking about whoever drew the logo for his beer. I don't know. I've been zoning in and out, and he was pointing at the beer can while he was in the beginning stages of this particular tangent.
Well, in fairness, I was doing more paying attention to the speed than anything else.
Yeah.
Man, when I see a talent, man, I get in his ear about it.
When you go to the headquarters nowadays, and you see all these people in suits walking around and they're putting food in the microwave, and it's like 15-story headquarters. You go to a match, the guys finish up and they leave and they put those big leg sleeves on. And they hang out and do stem cells and shit. Do you ever think it'll just never be the same as it was? I
mean, some of them have gone to Mexico for stem cell stuff, but they're not hanging out,
Mel Gibson
boofing stem cells in the locker room. What fucking year do you think this is, dude?
Yeah, America's still weird about stem cells because of, abortion.
And, the boys sit in the office planning Soul Search and going out cracking beers, no corporate bullshit. Do you ever yearn for the old days?
Well, I had my time, brother. I wouldn't want to relive them because it was a rough run. It was crazy because when I was wrestling, I'd go to Philadelphia Spectrum. I'd go to wrestle Piper, and Vince would go, hey, Terry, tell Piper we need to get about 20 minutes in. You need to drop the leg 1, 2, 3. But then after you drop the leg and he leaves the ring, as you're doing your posing, and you're doing your stuff, holding the belt, I want him to circle back, drop you, get some heat, get some major color, because we're going to come back in a lumberjack match, and then we go to finish for that, then we're going to come back in a steel cage match, in 3 or 4 in a row. So I tell Piper,
this isn't answering the question either. He just asked, do you miss the old days? Yeah, anyway, this one time I didn't mention Piper. So yes?
We're almost halfway through. I mean, we're a little over halfway through.
Yeah, this is it's just I'm kind of disappointed in how underwhelming this has been so far.
This is definitely the kind of podcast you listen to while you're working out because you're not fully paying attention to it.
Yeah, because Logan and Chucklefuck know who he is. But I really don't think they watch wrestling from that far back. I really don't. I think it's
I feel like Mr. Alien's t-shirt definitely had an WCW Hulk Hogan action figure.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what he was describing was a WCW product. The Stretch Armstrong Hulk Hogan thing. That was a WCW thing.
Yeah, that checks out. That all checks out.
Just talking to Vince, who wants me to drop the leg. Is fuck no, I'm not putting you over. I said, okay, well, that's how it was back then. Yeah. I said, well, here's the deal, brother. That's okay. We can figure something out for tonight. But Vince was going to go with you and I 2, 3 times. We're going to make some serious bread. But that's okay, brother. I got other people I can work with. And you go work with somebody else. And so that's how it was. Even back in the day, Paul Orndorff was another one. Never wanted to put anybody over. As a babyface, they told me, don't even go down to a knee. This Hulkamania thing was so big. But then when I turned heel, it was easy. You could beat me every night. It wouldn't matter because I could lie, cheat and steal. But it was different back then. At the end of the day, I got over because all the guys, supported me and put me over and stuff like that. And I mean, it's good now that they've got the squirrels under control. Instead of them running wild, at least when they tell you to finish, there's these guaranteed contracts, which they didn't have back in the day. If you got hurt, you didn't make any money. And so I think it's a little easier now. But watching what you're doing, you have a certain air about you that you're a really good heel naturally. And what is so cool, you're going to make one of the best baby faces ever.
We see narcissists are attracted to each other.
Yeah. Especially if they think they can get something from each other, which is what this is.
Yeah.
Logan is getting a guest for his podcast that people know about. Hulk Hogan is getting some semblance of relevancy.
The thing that I kind of admire about there's no pretenses.
Yeah,
to Logan Paul.
There's something to be said for that. I'm a piece of shit. This is
I'm
my
gonna
podcast.
I'm gonna market product to you because I recognize that it's all marketing anyways. Sell. But he is a meathead. Like he's like if Joe Rogan was the most boring motherfucker alive.
Yeah, at least Joe Rogan would be trying to like be funny by now. Logan's trying to act like he's a journalist.
Yeah, no, it's like, guys, do you think that the Joe Rogan podcast has too many laughs per hour? Well, guess what? We've got a podcast for you. It's whatever the fuck Logan Paul calls this podcast. Impulsive, right. Which is really not the energy that the actual podcast contains.
Yeah, that implies that this is like a wacky, like drive time zoo crew morning zoo type thing, and it's not.
Nothing funny has happened. Well, intentionally.
When they turn you. Because the more heat you get and the more they hate you, you're going to be an awesome babyface. For instance, Bloodline now, they're starting to cheer for Roman.
Yeah.
Just quick thought off the top of my head. Roman comes back, Bloodline rounds his shit up and beats him like a dog. He hits the ring to save Roman. It would get him over. Bam. Instantly.
Here's the only
instantly babyface. Be a huge. It'll be Hulk Hogan babyface personified.
Now Hulk, like, he came back at fucking SummerSlam, dude. Like this.
Hulk, what's wrong with you?
Like Hulk, I know you don't watch the product, and I don't expect you to. There's no reason for you to anymore. But and that's okay. But stop acting like you do to a person who actively works for the company now, even if it's only once every other month or so.
Hilarious. Two guys who really don't know what they're talking about,
but they don't even know it.
Chilling on a podcast. This is the most pretentious wrestling podcast I've ever seen.
It's up there.
Oh, okay.
There are some that are worse.
I'm just saying this is literally pretentious because neither of them knows what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of wrestling podcasts that fall into that bill. Meltzer. Gabe Meltzer's an idiot.
Fine.
Well, here's the only difference I want to ask you about this. I don't know if this has ever really truly existed before, but he's the only person that's ever
shit all day long.
He's the only person that's ever been hated prior to creating his character in the WWE. So that's my question to you is like, is it as easy to like switch someone who has a blended real life with WWE life into a person that is loved by all when he's not been able to do that outside of the ring? Does that make sense?
Yes.
I love him.
For instance, if
I'm in the fucking minority.
That's the 5%.
There's a couple more over there.
That's my mom.
Oh, that's Mama?
Yeah.
She goes,
she loves me as far as I know.
Yeah. No, but it's the wrestling fans are very forgiving, you know. If Chris Benoit can do the crap he did and the fans still love him, you know, they're very forgiving. You know, I've made some major mistakes in my personal life.
Yep.
They're very.
No, they fucking don't, Hulk Hogan. What are you talking about?
This actually is the only line that I had actually seen some reactions to.
How come people are mad at me for saying the N-word a couple dozen times in a sex tape, but everyone still thinks Chris Benoit is cool? It's like, no, everyone thinks Benoit's a piece of shit now. Like, that's what he is. He's a piece of shit.
And like the people who don't think he's a piece of shit don't like forgive what he did.
Yeah, even the people who think like, oh, we should separate art from the artist acknowledge, yeah, it's totally fucked up that he did a bunch of steroids and got a bunch of concussions and murdered his whole family.
Those people just think it's tragic and sad. These are not Hulk. You have no Hulk.
These things are not comparable. But.
Wildly out of pocket comments, sir. Wildly out of pocket.
Very forgiving, but they forgive you. But a situation like this with him, for instance, if I just wanted to open Monday Night Raw and all of a sudden Brock Lesnar's music started, and Brock Lesnar's going to be a babyface too.
Yeah.
Let's just say I don't know who the bad guys are now. I don't know all of them, but whoever the number one bad guy is,
yeah, maybe.
Who's the number one bad guy?
Probably Dominic or Solo Sikoa.
Yeah. Just like if it was the Bloodline came out, and, he got.
Which is interesting because Dominic's not a big guy, like at least compared to most wrestlers.
Yeah, he's about average size, but he's bigger than his dad. Oh. So that's all that Dom needed.
Fair.
The old man standing in the ring.
If you notice when Dom does the 619, it's not as fast and crisp as when his dad does it. It's because Dominic's like 1.5 feet taller than Ray, and that's like an easier move to do if you're short.
Damn, I was thinking about muscle mass, but yeah, no, I guess he is pretty tall.
Yeah, he's like Dominic's like my height about, I think.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. So And Rey Mysterio is about my height.
Maybe a couple inches shorter because, like, okay, so
is he not 5'6"? I thought he was 5'6".
He's probably around that area, but yeah, keep in mind when Ray was starting wrestling, he was too small to wrestle any of the other luchadors, so they had him wrestle in the minis division, even though he was a foot and a half taller than them.
They made him fight in the dwarf wrestlers. Is
that
what you're?
That's how he got started. Yeah,
the wrestlers
until he put some muscle on. They had him wrestle the minis. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's
because they didn't understand how it would work. Because
Rey Mysterio, you're too tiny.
You're such a slight, dainty man.
We're not really sure what you'll do in the ring. Oh, it turns out your body is a rubber band. Now we know what to do with you.
Ring going, hey brother, welcome to Monday Night Raw, whatever I'm doing.
Yep.
And all of a sudden they came out and just grounded the piss out of me and pulled the rag off my bald head and started shaving my mustache off. He came and hit the ring. And he got the rub, the red and yellow rub. Done. Doesn't matter where he's been, what he's done. It's all about getting that right rub at the right time. It's all a timing thing. So, I can't wait to see him turn your babyface. It's going to be great, but not yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no interest in doing that. No, yeah, I think being a heel is fucking awesome.
But you got to realize, bro, this is not a work, okay? This is a shoot.
What?
Not too much about you.
Yeah, no,
like,
I don't.
He could be the booked as the most white meat thing since peak John Cena. But people don't forget about the forest, Logan. About the walkie-talkie in the forest.
Shit, right.
Got you banned from an entire country.
Oh, dude, he can never go to Japan to wrestle.
Yeah. That's what Dominic trolled him about.
Oh.
One of the many things. He's like, oh yeah. Like they were talking about how they've been doing more international tours lately. And Dom's like, yeah, man, Japan was great, wasn't it? And you could tell he knew that. Look, it's banned from there. Couldn't go. It's like, oh man, you gotta go. Show up wearing the hat. And then you can see the Logan's getting he's getting pale because he doesn't know what to do, and Dominic's still just winding him up. It's the best episode ever, but you got to sit through 50 minutes of stupid shit first, though.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's every Logan Paul episode. Although, in fairness, that's also probably a lot of my episodes where I'm watching Logan Paul. Yeah. Although this is actually only my second time watching Logan Paul.
The business is a shoot. Everybody's going to tell you it's a work. It's not a work.
What do you mean?
The business is a shoot.
I don't know if
I wrestle you right now, and Vince pays you $1 million, he pays me $5 million.
Yeah.
Hogan's using very basic first week of wrestling school carny words, and Logan is drawing a blank.
Let's see if Logan gets it.
Is that a work or a shoot?
I don't know. I don't think I know the
Let him
terms.
explain it.
Oh, you know what the terms?
Oh no! He said it out loud.
Those are the first ones you learn.
He doesn't know what work and shoot mean.
He doesn't know. He doesn't speak carny. Holy shit! They don't respect him.
Oh my god!
They don't respect him. That's how you know he doesn't hang out in the locker room now.
Logan.
Because he would pick it, even if they didn't teach it to him in the PC when they were drilling him for his paper WrestleMania debut match.
Logan, I am a casual, and I know what those words mean.
It's so easy to pick up too. That's how he has his own locker room. Because if he shared the locker room, he would have just picked it up through immersion. Because everyone's gonna be talking like that around him, and no one's bothered to teach him, and he hasn't bothered to ask to be taught.
Ouch! That's sad, Logan.
Yeah, that wrestling. There's a lot of mind game, wrestling bookers really into mind game tests like that, and then you find out later that they were testing you. You're like, oh fuck, that was a test. That he's probably been tested a bunch of times, just doesn't know.
Oh man,
people are probably using industry terms with him, and he just pretends he knows what it means to get the conversation over faster.
Oh man,
because this is basic shit. He's not even speaking archaic.
You should know what a work is.
Work and shoot.
And you should know what shoot is, because I feel like someone has to use the word shoot just to talk about safety. Oh my god. Jesus.
Either he's never by complete accident never stiffed anybody, or he gets receipts every night and he just thinks he's tough.
Oh god.
A shoot. What is shoot? I know what work. What is a shoot?
Wait, you knew work but not shoot?
It's impossible for you to learn one without the other because they go hand in hand. That is the real face. That is the face I made under this mask. When I heard
look at the face Hogan is making.
The most relatable face Hulk Hogan will ever make.
You don't know what a shoot is.
He doesn't know the words.
Like you could have you don't even need to watch wrestling because you might have heard that expression if you did MMA or like wrestling in high school. Like Hogan, I mean Paul, Logan, come on,
you're bullshitting me.
He's not. He's serious.
Yeah, I'm fucking with you.
Okay, thank you.
He's not.
No,
Look
he's
at
not.
his fucking face. He is lying.
He's not.
He's lying. Look,
he's clearly trying to get dumbass over here to shut up, but dumbass is going to spill the beans that Logan is just a moron.
Well, we just hang out in the back and play and fucking do selfies all day, bro. They don't know the wrestling words.
I don't know. Is Logan Paul an Xbox guy or a PlayStation guy? Who knows?
He's not.
You embarrassing? Okay, that's fine. How about this? Can you explain it to our audience at home quickly that doesn't understand?
I blew it.
No, shut up. He's gonna explain it to the audience. Logan,
stop.
Logan knows what this means. No, Logan knows what it means, but maybe just explain to our audience at home.
If you're looking it up on your phone, then we know that you can't really know.
And that means that Reddit's gonna be the first thing that comes up because no wrestler is gonna make a website full of industry words for fucking marks. Okay, it's not gonna happen. So he's gonna get the Reddit bullshit that everyone knows. That's what he's gonna get. So some of that shit's probably gonna be wrong. Even.
Oh God,
brother, come over here. Come here.
Oh, Kevin.
Sit right here. Sit right here.
Oh.
Pleasure, sir. Good to see you.
Okay,
I'm not getting up. I'm too tired to go. If you're here and I was to grab a top wrist lock on you like this, okay? No, that's a work. If I go through here,
it actually hurts. How are you gonna kill Kevin?
No, I can break your arm.
About to turn into carne asada.
For instance, if I grab the headlock on you, and I grab the headlock like this, that's a work. If I grab it like this, I put that bone against your head. That's a shoot.
Wait, no, that's a terrible headlock. What do you mean the bone against your head? A real headlock should go around your neck.
He hasn't had to do shoot stuff in a while, I would imagine.
Like
it used to be like they would just beat the fuck out of you in training until and if you kept coming back, that's how they knew you wanted it, and then they'd smarten you up.
Like, do you not look? Oh, the purpose of a headlock is to cut off the blood flow to from your neck.
Yes,
what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Hulk Hogan. This is just we said like what?
That's like one of the 4 moves you could do. Bear hug, headlock, big boot, leg drop, occasionally a body slam.
Well, now we know that if anyone did shoot fight him in the ring, they won.
No, but the working the shoes when you're working together.
I see.
Or when you're doing something for real. Bro, if I'm making more money than you, that's for real. If I'm a babyface and my merchandise is selling more than yours, that's a shoot.
Yeah.
So this business back in the day used to be about the money and the miles. It's how far you travel for how much money you make. But at the end of the day, if I'm like, WrestleMania 3, God bless his soul, Andre.
He used the word heel and babyface earlier.
Okay, yeah, because Shawn Michaels had a big hand in training him, and Shawn Michaels knows what the fuck he's doing.
I find it hard to believe that Shawn Michaels never used the expression shoot.
Yeah, he was probably saying it every day. There might have been a day where he was like telling him about industry
Maybe he
words.
just thought Bret Michaels didn't like to say shit. Maybe he just thought Bret Michaels was swearing in a G way.
But Shawn Michaels, he said Bret Michaels.
I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus Christ.
The poison guy.
God damn it.
Yeah, but
I like Shawn Michaels way better than Bret Michaels.
No, yeah, I feel like anybody with more than a couple brain cells would say the same thing because Poison is terrible. I mean, they got a couple of okay songs, but that's all they are.
I fucking hate that song about that Rose.
Yeah,
I made a lot more money than him. Thank God he never found out. But that's a shoot, bro. If somebody's making more money than me, I'm not going to go, okay, it doesn't matter if I'm a heel and I make less money. That's a lot of work to me. That's a shoot.
I see.
You and I are in the ring and we're fighting and we're driving the same amount of miles and we're busting our ass and breaking sweat and getting hurt in that ring. And you make more money than me? That's a shoot to me, man. I don't care if I'm a babyface or a good guy. It's a work. It's a work. No, it's not a work. If someone makes more money than you, to me, that's a shoot.
But isn't it always a shoot?
Yeah, thank you. That's what I keep saying. And just because we're working in the ring, but the business.
What is he even saying right now? I mean, like, yeah, when you make money, you
basically
make
just
money.
I think he's like just like no, like you should like it. He's mad that wrestlers like turn off at the end of the day and aren't just constantly thinking about how to make more money and like fucking politic their way to the top because that's part of the reason why everybody was so drunk and on drugs all the time is because they didn't know who they could trust back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s up until like the late 90s.
You gotta unionize.
Yeah, they seriously do. But like, that's at the same time though, it's like, merch sales mean a lot because that's how the companies keep afloat, especially during times like during COVID times, and they're not making ticket money.
They are a t-shirt manufacturing company.
Yeah, like that. Most wrestling companies, that's where they make most of their money.
Mm-hmm. You have to be a big enough wrestler to sell a t-shirt. That's how it works.
Or you have to be in a small enough town that there's no other wrestling schools that are run by WWE alumni. So you can have a wrestling school and make a decent amount of money, because where else are people going to go?
Good point.
It's about making money,
right?
So for me, I've always looked at it that way. And when I worked for Vince Senior, he always paid the champion more than the guy he was wrestling. So all of a sudden, when Vince Senior passed the torch to Vince, and all of a sudden, my first check at the Garden was some crazy check. I beat the Iron Sheik. The next month,
he's saying selling shirts matters more than winning.
Yeah, he's saying like money more important than winning. But he used to win all the time, and he would be bitchy if he had to like count lights for anybody. So this is already bullshit coming from him.
I assume he had to lose more in the NWO, right?
NWO, I mean, no, because then he had the big group behind him, and they could help him cheat.
Right, yeah. Oh, that's what it would be. He would just win more by cheating.
Yeah.
Vince Jr. was running it. My check was nowhere near what my first check was. I said, "Oh, bro, that doesn't work for me." So I tried to keep things going as long as I could with Vince Senior's theme. But at the end of the day, for me, the business has always been a shoot, because if someone makes more money than me, that's a shoot to me. I just can't go, it's a work. It doesn't matter if his merchandise sells 10 times as much as mine. It's a work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you turn babyface, watch what happens. Watch how your stuff blows through the roof.
I mean, I'm going to be a girl dad, and we have a couple.
Oh, fuck. He's having a kid.
God.
That kid's doomed. That kid is doomed.
And it's a girl. I don't know why I feel like it's worse. Or maybe it's better that it's a girl. Maybe having a girl make him have to, not be so stupid. Maybe he'll have to expand his mind in that way. Maybe femininity might even him out.
He's gonna punt it off to a nanny. You've seen how big his house is.
He's gonna ruin that child. You're
right.
That
kid's gonna grow up in a fucking hype house, and she's gonna be just the worst person.
Yes.
Pretty intimate pieces of programming coming out, some big announcements, and I think people are going to get an inside scoop at like my real life that I've never shown before, my family life. And since I'm not really playing a character in the WWE, I'm just like amplifying the worst part of myself, which does exist, but it is weird because they know me, and when they like this audience, they know me, and then the WWE, here I am like being a dickhead, and I find the older I get, a couple daughters, I'm sure I'm going to have all daughters, I'm gonna get softer. I wonder how much I'm gonna be okay with being like dislikable or unlikable. Like I don't know.
It's going to change, bro.
It is going to change.
I mean, the thing is, you can't control that, Logan.
Yeah, and here, just like you're not going to be able to control when inevitably you start making less money, and your wife, who has dated much more famous men than you, will probably get bored with you and leave.
Who is his wife?
I don't know. She's some like bullshit Instagram model, but she had dated a bunch of dudes that have way more money than Logan Paul.
Damn.
So I don't know why she thinks like getting cuffed by him is like her meal ticket or whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, that also lowers my expectations for how this child will turn out.
Yeah, she's gonna be the worst.
Or the saddest. Either a terrible person or a very sad person.
Yeah.
It's going to change.
As evil as you can get. I mean, the worst, nastiest heel in the business is always the best babyface. So just keep doing your thing, and when they switch you, bro, it's going to be just insane.
I'm so excited for Roman to come back.
Yeah, bro, they're already turning babyface.
I filmed this like a while ago because he's been back.
I was gonna say I wasn't aware.
Like he's not like, I mean, it's still like limited stuff, but it's for the bloodline. But yeah, he's been doing an angle with the new bloodline where they're like, he's like, hey, I'm Kyle the Chief, and then they're like, no, so is now. It's been going on for like a month.
Yeah, no, they must have. But it has to have been filmed after the RNC.
Yeah.
Didn't this just come out like a week or two ago?
Wait a minute, yeah, and he's not U.S. champion because he just lost that at SummerSlam up in Cleveland. So I don't know, maybe he just doesn't fucking watch the product unless he absolutely has to when he's there.
Maybe he's still thinking about before Roman Reigns came back the first time.
He hasn't done anything.
They are.
Man, this show is a shoot for me, bro. You make way more money than I do. I finally realized it.
I don't know if he's using the word right.
I mean, he's trying at least.
That's fair.
But yeah, it would not surprise me at all if Logan's barely paying him anything. But I mean, someone like Logan Paul barely paying you anything is a lot different than corporation not paying you anything.
Yeah, but also, like, let's be honest. He lives somewhere in this house, doesn't he?
Logan?
No, I meant Logan's friend.
I don't know, maybe. Like,
or is this Logan's house? Where the hell are they?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, they're just at a house.
Question. It doesn't look like. Well,
there's not any Jesus.
Wait, is this Hulk Hogan's house?
Maybe, but there's not Jesus shit up anywhere.
Do we really think that Hulk Hogan loves Jesus?
I mean, he loves people thinking he loves Jesus. So, and his wife seems like she's one of those crazy born again types. Who might.
You're right. You're right. There'd be some Jesus stuff.
There'd be at least like a cross on the Hobby Lobby cross on the wall. So.
Whatever the evangelicals are putting up these days.
Oh, you're getting pumped out, man.
Dude, this is a shoot, bro.
It is.
I guess it is.
It is.
It's unreal, dude.
Yeah.
I
well, then, if you want to get paid like you
no, shoot means it is real.
He's stupid. That guy's powerful stupid.
You get your ass in the ring, man. You know.
Hell no.
Oh, he was. He got his ass.
I did. I jumped in Saudi Arabia. I got the crap kicked out of me, dude. I took one bump and I was like, nah, I don't think I can do it. I want to do like a Heyman or like a Paul Bearer. Walk around behind him with a belt.
What most people
little chuckle fuck flew to Saudi Arabia.
That dude wants to do your job. Although that would mean he'd have to be able to act.
Yeah, being a manager is a lot rougher than people think it is. Sometimes old heads especially like to surprise you. Like you don't think you're bumping in a match, and they'll come up to you and just like cock you one. You got to sell it. Because if you don't sell it, they get all pissy at you, or they'll hit you again harder this time for real.
Yeah,
especially if it's an old head, and like they can't run anymore, but they're still strong.
Somebody will definitely hit that guy.
What I understand is how forgiving this business is, man. I mean, you get hurt in there all the time, you know.
Unforgiving.
No.
Totally unforgiving. One of the first things I learned, this shit hurts so bad. It all hurts.
We've had football over the years, football players trying to come in. Bill Fralick was great. Mongo McMichael's made it. We've had several guys come in. Refrigerator Perry, all of them. They just in and out. Had all kinds of UFC guys come in. I don't want to drop names. We had a bunch of UFC guys come in. After a day or two, they're going, screw this.
The Usos told me, they're like, don't worry about it. The adrenaline will take care of all of it. Yeah. And it did for a few minutes. But then later that night, I was like, damn, dude, that fucking hurt.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar adapted real well, you know.
Yeah.
Benjamin Shelton, a lot of guys, Kurt Angle, you know.
It's a lot of about navigating pain.
Yeah.
I think I realized. Like
mentality.
Both mental and but honestly, probably just physical. Like if you have a high physical pain threshold, I think you'll be a little bit better off.
Right.
Because you're gonna get rocked.
Doesn't wrestle enough to be sore all the time, though. That'll be an interesting test for him.
I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. It's not like he gets in the ring on the road, which sometimes can be multiple nights in a row.
Yeah, whenever he's shown up on Raw, like it's always just like he cuts a promo, and he only really wrestles on pay-per-views, and only big pay-per-views. So like he's not gonna have a good time. I mean, he's probably still going to be flying in a private jet everywhere by himself, have his own locker room and shit. So he's not going to have to deal with like too much like getting heat in the back and getting kicked out of the locker room like the Miz or something like that back in the day. But like it's going to be an eye opener for him. He's going to wake up hurting every day. And if you want the fellas in the back to think you're cool, you do the house shows too, where there's no cameras. You get an appearance fee and a cut of whatever t-shirts you sell. And that's it.
Damn.
There's not any cameras, so you can't like put your shit up on your fucking Twitter. There's not any. You have to stay afterward to sign autographs. He's not gonna like that.
Seriously, guys. Y'all need to unionize. And like I'll try and stop just saying it.
Trump was so good.
Yeah.
He gets shot and keeps going, dude.
Unreal.
Insane.
Yeah, he's tripping, man.
Just compare Trump to these wrestlers who and their pain. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
did you see his ear by chance? Is there a piece missing?
Oh no, I didn't see it that way.
No, it's covered.
Well, I know, but I thought maybe I would definitely ask him. If I'm just so curious because like if he's missing a piece of his ear, like on some Evander Holyfield shit,
I don't think he is because I don't think he even got stitches.
Then where did the blood?
I don't know. I know we weren't going to talk about it a lot on this episode, but like, man, if you really pulled just a graze off of that shot, dude, like God is favoring you, dude.
Yeah.
Because that's.
Guys like that are specifically going to vote for Trump just because he almost got shot.
Do you think everyone who almost died was favored by God? You know how many bad people have had near-death experiences? It's not zero.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him to see it. We'll probably see him next week down in Palm Beach.
Please.
So I'm gonna ask him to see. I'm gonna take a picture of the damn thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I tried to get the hat that he was.
Actually, Hulk Hogan, I want you to do that because I need to know the truth.
Right.
Oh, really?
I'm a collector. So the first question I asked to his team was like, "You're glad he's alive. Where's the hat? Who has the hat?"
Yeah, that's great.
Give you $1 million for it right now.
I offered over $2 million for it. They wouldn't.
No shit.
I believe it's the most important artifact in American history.
Yes.
That hat. And I bet it has his blood.
You think the hat he was wearing is the most important artifact in American history?
The Declaration of Independence sits under glass in Washington, D.C., and anyone can come up and look at it for free, dude. You think that's not important?
Like George Washington's slave teeth are a more important artifact than that fucking hat. What the hell? Like, we don't even know the full ramifications of Trump or any of this, and you're up here. Like, do you even know what the other artifacts are? Do you un-American bastard? What the
blood on it?
Wow.
Well, the car JFK was in would probably be up there.
It's true. It's not as easy to put in a display case.
I get something crazy at home. I got a pair of yellow boots that have Andre the Giant's blood on them.
Oh shit!
Can you imagine cloning that big, bro?
Cloning him. Let's clone him.
We probably could.
Yeah, that'd be crazy, right?
Are you into collectibles?
Not really, bro. I mean, I gave away so much stuff. You know, like when I was the champion, we used to do a lot of promos, a lot more than they do now. So if I was coming to the Capitol Center in Washington, I'd do 4 or 5 promos, 3-minute promos. 4 weeks from now, brother, I'll be at the Capitol Center. 3 weeks from now, I'm training. You know, I'm hanging off the Washington Memorial. 2 weeks from now, you know what? I was just training with Bill Clinton, and you know what? We took that blue dress and we had a picnic. You know, 1 week from now, and tonight's tonight. So I do all these promos, and I would sit in a room with me and Gene for like 4 or 5 hours, and I just bang one after another, because when you tell stories every week, you know, and you get the asses in seats, then you walk out there and just pick your money up. That's easy. You got to fill those buildings. So I used to go through those title belts, you know, like every 3 or 4 weeks. You know, I just sweat through them, you know, and so. It was, what was I talking about again?
Yeah, I don't know, because this keeps happening to me as well.
Well, it's early.
We had
The third time Hulk Hogan has completely forgotten what he's talking about after finishing a sentence.
CTE. He's got it. Probably. He could just also be old. Or steroids. Or the drugs he's probably not being honest about doing.
And he's drinking now because he has a beard.
Right.
So we got drunk ass Hulk Hogan running around everywhere.
They made vague references to some type of hardcore partying. Do you think he's hungover?
Probably.
Long night last night.
What the hell was I? What was I talking
I'm
about?
even surprised.
You're not even listening.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
Is there anybody?
What was I talking about?
Oh, collectibles.
No, I don't. But no, but I gave all my stuff away, and I used to get these belts like every month. Vince would have to make belt. I would sweat through the leather. My yellow tights would get brown, and I was staying so wet, so I was giving them away for motorcycles and cars and my friends. And, I just give them away. You know, it's like I gave one to some guy at Harley Davidson. He gave me 10 motorcycles. You know,
oh my God.
And so it was crazy back then.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I cannot even imagine the things that
I could see that maybe. I could see that being.
All right. I'll give you the Harleys for it. Give it to him. Fuck yeah, man. Take whatever you want, Hulk Hogan. 10? I'll give you 10 fucking Harleys for it. Hell yeah, I'm world champion. Fucking 80s, man.
Yep.
you've seen it. Is there anybody that you haven't met? Because
maybe that's a good point. How many was it really?
It's probably like 2. Like one for him, one for the missus.
Because like even that's like a good deal.
Yeah,
that's an insane.
I'm sure you've met, shook hands, partied with everybody. Is there anybody that you haven't met that you always wanted to? Like, do you have any like people that you look at, rock stars, idols?
Probably the one guy that I really wanted to meet. Actually, there were 2. One guy I wanted to meet was Elvis. You know, but when I started wrestling in Memphis, he used to ride a Harley and put a helmet on at night. He'd go out at night and ride his Harley around, and then he'd come to the Mid-South Coliseum and sit way up in the top of the building and watch wrestling. You know, and I came along, went through Memphis right after he passed away. You know, and I said, damn, if I'd have came here sooner, because I was wrestling in North Florida, Pensacola, and they were trying to get me to come to Memphis because when I was young, I had a look to me. I was really big, and I was about 80 pounds heavier than I am now and taller, so I had this look. Even though I was green, they still put me in all the main events. And when they told me Elvis was up there all the time, and I said, oh, I wish I'd have met him.
Hulk Hogan times Elvis is potentially the most American collaboration that could ever exist.
Yeah.
There's
how much Elvis do y'all kids actually listen to? How much?
Very little, if any. Logan Paul's dad seems more like a Bruce Springsteen kind of guy.
Yeah, because
at least back when Bruce Springsteen was popular, Bruce is a little too liberal for the Pauls, probably.
I don't fully know their politics yet, but
I get Trump vibes from them.
Oh yeah, I mean, I assume Logan is a Trump guy at this point.
Yeah, he is, because he's an idiot.
It does alarm me that Trump has now been on both his podcast and Aiden Ross's stream.
Yeah.
Side note, if you don't know who Aiden Ross is, good for you. Good for you.
He's such an idiot.
Possibly the dumbest man to be that rich off of
people that dumb
off of taking children's money.
People that dumb shouldn't be allowed to have that much money. It's amazing he's still alive, being honest.
You can't pronounce the word fascism.
There's literally no one you could plug in either spot.
The other guy I really wanted to meet was John Wayne. And of course, he died way before I was old enough to make a move, but I bought his limo, John Wayne's limo.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
I wanted to ask you, just kind of talking about something earlier. When you were working with The Rock and you met him for that first time in that warehouse and you kind of caught his vibe, could you tell that Dwayne Johnson was a star?
Oh, God, yes, brother. Oh, my God, yeah.
He had that aura.
Oh, he had the it factor, bro. I mean, you either have it or you don't. You got it.
Are you sure?
I'm positive you got it. You have the it factor, brother. You have. No, I'm serious. I'm not joking. You really do. Your brother's got it too.
Yeah, well, I think he has it more than me. I think, dude, if Jake had my athletic ability, he would be such.
I mean, The Rock is definitely smarter than Logan Paul.
Oh, absolutely. He is.
I mean, 100%. Like
people actually like The Rock.
Even if The Rock has been slipping both in his actions and his popularity, he's still better than Logan Paul in every conceivable way. Like, even now that I know he pees in Gatorade bottles and makes assistants take care of it, which is a seriously dick move, I also still would prefer to work with The Rock than Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Such a good wrestler.
Too big a calves.
I guess I'd rather handle Gatorade bottles full of pee than Prime.
Just the way he like talks and even just looks, that big beard. I don't know if you saw it the other day with Mike Perry. Him and Mike Perry were doing, hey, I'm going to tell you what, brother. Going back and forth. Like,
that's actually a good point. They say that. He might be better at the promo side than you are. But you're just way more athletic.
He can't do the stuff.
Maybe a clone of you, some sort of hybrid clone of you too.
Yeah.
With Andre the Giant.
I'll tell you what. I got a move named after you.
No what?
Inspired by you. It's called the Hulk Logan.
I love it.
Yeah. I do the ear. I run off the ropes. And I do a split because I'm pretty flexible, and I bring my leg way up and just land on the dude, and then I flex while I'm on top of him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've never pinned anyone with it. It's more kind of flashy.
Cool.
I can't wait for him to pull his groin.
That he got some heat. He's been doing that move for a while. He did that at the Hollywood WrestleMania. Was when he broke that out for the first time. But that is very similar to a lady wrestler in NXT's finish. So he got some heat on Twitter for that.
Of course. It's, I don't know. It feels like if he can't keep his flexibility up, that's eventually going to hurt him more than anyone he's landed on.
Yeah, he doesn't do it all the time. Like, it's like yeah, and usually it's like a move like the other guy moves.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
mad disrespectful, just balls in the chest.
Yeah,
balls in the chest.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but The Rock, bro, we're talking about him. He had the it factor, and in the ring, man. I don't know what it was about that guy, bro, but he's, you know, I'm not trying to kiss your ass, but instinct. You guys had instinct, and that's what he had. A lot of guys, and I don't want to drop names, but a lot of guys have been in the wrestling business 25, 30 years. They're friends of mine. They never figure it out. They think they're superstars. They made a certain amount of money, but they never figured the art form out. They still talk. I mean, I walk into catering, and they'll be talking to the guy they're going to wrestle for 2 hours, and they got a 7-minute match.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about for 2 hours in here? You know, they made me vote with me. They made me rehearse at the Republican National Convention. They screwed me up so bad I almost couldn't talk.
Yeah.
Because they made me go in a back room with a plexiglass podium and a teleprompter in front of me on each side of the stage. And the
didn't we already tell the story?
I think so, yeah.
lady was really nice. The stage manager, there must have been 20 people in the room, and they wanted me to read this copy. And I'm like, I don't even speak like this.
Yeah.
You know, and I got to the point where I started getting self-conscious, and I think they thought I was going to shit the bed.
If this is real, then I'm actually very curious what they wanted him to say.
I was so bad. And then my wife saw me. I went in the back room. There was a band playing, so I just get into the music. You know, and I just got away from everybody.
Yeah.
I needed about 5 minutes to get in the zone. Right, brother, let's go.
Yep.
You know, and once I got there, I was like, good. And then once I did my thing, it was cool. But you know, I'm just glad they didn't pull me off the stage because I wasn't reading the teleprompter.
You hate rehearsals.
Oh, fuck, dude,
They need your least favorite thing on the planet, dude.
When I was working with Vince, they had me open the show a lot. So, you know, I'd be standing there with the curtains on the paragraph, then the music would start Real American. all of a sudden a writer would come up to me and hand me a stack of pages like this that were hot. The paper still, I looked at this, I'm going, really? I just throw the paper in there and just walk out, you know?
Well, he trusted you.
Yeah, he knew, you know.
Well, I mean, these days, I think especially with all the corporate guidelines, commercial bullshit, they want to know what to expect. And I don't know how many people they trust to go out there and not say something you're not supposed to that would turn off a sponsor or something. You know, publicly traded company as well.
Yeah, right.
You got to answer to people.
Real corporate shit.
Yeah, it's super corporate. You mentioned it. Suits like walking around. But at the same time, though, it's like not still. You know, it's not a union.
It's still got that core.
Yeah, I can feel it. I definitely like.
What do you mean it's not a union, Logan? What do you mean it's not a union? What are you implying? Are you saying that that's good?
I think he is. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Logan.
I like thrive in those environments.
Yeah.
You were you at WrestleMania 40?
Who wrestled? No.
This was Cody Roman.
No, I wasn't there.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Some people are saying it's the greatest WrestleMania of all time.
They probably weren't alive when I was wrestling.
Is that true?
40. I mean, it was good. There's so many different metrics of what could make a best WrestleMania, and it's all totally subjective. So it's like it's pointless to think about. But I mean, yeah, 40 was a good one.
Okay.
I will say that was a phenomenal event. You got to make a little cameo comeback appearance.
No, you never know, man. You never know.
Oh, little tease. Yeah, your shirt.
After that,
Who we got? Razor Ramon.
Hold at your beer event. Probably not ever again, bud. Sorry.
How does Triple H feel about Hulk Hogan?
Doesn't like him.
All right, makes sense.
I mean, that's when he basically became Hulk Hogan.
That was in Daytona.
Yeah.
Monumental.
Yeah.
It was the third man. I told none of these guys. They had no idea it was me. They had no idea.
Actually?
No idea. They were out in the ring not knowing who the third guy was.
What's he wearing?
He's wearing a shirt that's the moment that he turned heel for the very first time ever and joined the NWO. Dropped the leg on Randy Savage. People were throwing trash at him. And apparently, he was supposed to do like what their pre-recorded segments were like. Yeah, screw all you guys. We're taking over, dude. We're too sweet. All right. Like they told him, like, don't do old time wrestling stuff. And then what does he do? He drops the leg on Savage. People start throwing trash in the ring, and he goes, "Well, let me tell you something, Mean Gene. We're getting tired of all this." It's like, oh my god. And you can see it. Like if you look at Scott Hall and Nash in the back, they're like looking at each other like, what in the fuck? And they're like still like trying to sell it like, yeah, we're friends with this guy now, he's in our club now. And apparently it took him forever to stop doing the let me tell you something, Mean Gene, brother dude Jack kind of bullshit. Like it took him forever to learn how to be a heel.
You'd think it would come naturally to him. You would think.
That had to be mind blowing.
I told Eric Bischoff, we agreed, don't tell anybody it's me.
It's hard to keep secrets nowadays. I don't know if you noticed, but like stuff gets leaked.
Yeah.
Stuff gets leaked online, social media. Like it's almost like there's a mole in the WWE creative team that like literally leaves the meeting and like leaks it to these wrestling sites. It's disappointing. It's becoming harder and harder to keep things fresh.
Well, this was just between me and Eric, you know.
Of course, some of the leakings is actually viral marketing done by studios and companies.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's genuine leaks, though.
Yep.
And some of it's corporations testing whether or not something gets a positive response or negative response.
I have noticed that the dirt sheet quote unquote leaks for WWE are mostly either inconclusive or proven to be false, whereas the ones that come out for AEW are almost always true.
That's because no one respects Tony Khan, and there's lots of people ready to betray him.
Yep.
You know,
yeah, but also, how do you hide you? That's the other thing.
Well, I was just, I was out in LA.
Also, I wouldn't be surprised if Tony Khan leaks a bunch of stuff himself.
Well, I mean, he's
just saying
buddies with a lot of those quote unquote journalists.
Yeah, no.
He has.
I can see him. I can see him hanging out with one and just being and wanting them to like him. So it's just like, oh, by the way, we're doing this thing right here. Don't tell anyone that I told you.
Yeah, and then also like he makes people mad a lot. Mm-hmm. But since he's such a sensitive little fella, they're scared to like flip shit on him. So it wouldn't surprise me if he like goes back on his word about something, and then people get mad and go, you know what, Tony, fuck you. I'm leaking the next 3 months of fucking programming, which ain't that hard because you only ever have 2 fucking actual angles going at any given time.
Like, only 2 angles?
Like it's barely any.
What?
At any given time.
How can
that way he can say, no, see, I'm booking angles, but then the rest of it's just like masturbatory, like oh wow, this obscure guy from Japan no one ever heard of is gonna wrestle John Moxley, and it's gonna be really cool. It's like, but no one knows who the obscure Japanese guy is.
If they just want to throw people in the ring,
yeah, that's
and be
favorite.
Dangerous with it, and see what happens.
Yeah,
you might as well be shoot wrestling.
Yeah, Tony, that's Tony's favorite shit, is just throwing matches together.
Of course it is.
Hey, basically shooting one of my blockbuster movies, Salmon with Muscles, and I saw Nash come out, No, I saw Scott come out.
Yeah.
I said, okay, this looks like a shoot. It looks like he's working with the other company. Then I called Big Kev, saw Big Kev come out, and Eric, had asked me if I'd turn heel. I told him to pound sand, And then I saw that going on. I called Eric up. I said, who's your third man? And Eric goes, oh, well, we're going to go with Sting. I said, bro, he's not WWE. I mean, Scott and Kev are WWE. Sting's got nothing, So I'm WWE from head to toe. I'm the third man. Eric goes, really, will you do it? I said, yeah, I'll do it. And Eric didn't even believe I would do it. So I flew in on a Learjet down to Daytona and basically hid out in a hotel room. And I told Eric, call me, right before, when the last match is in the ring before the main event. Because, these guys, there's going to be the last match. Then the main event would wrestle for 15, 20 minutes before I went out there, because I would just walk out. But Eric didn't even think I was coming from the hotel, so he had Sting ready to go. Oh, so they didn't believe I would do it. Even Eric was going to, because there's several times I had creative control, and I never used it the whole time.
Bullshit.
But
bullshit that he had it, or bullshit that he never used it?
Bullshit that he never used it.
Oh, okay. No, that makes more sense. Yeah, he probably used it all the time.
Oh my god, yeah. Like everybody in the NWO did. Because that's part of the reason why WCW went under, is because nobody was putting their foot down and telling people no. If you were making money, they let you do whatever the fuck you want. And then when they merged with whatever company, they didn't give a fuck either. They were just Hulk Hogan uses creative control all the fucking time. All the time. They all did.
Why would you even lie about that, Hulk? Why would you even lie about it?
I didn't use it this night either. But when I walked out, Scott and Kevin almost shit, because they had no idea I was coming out, And so it was kind of cool. But the reaction we got from the crowd.
That's bullshit too.
Yeah, because they were talking beforehand what they wanted him to say for that big heel turn promo, and he went against it. Both of them have mentioned, Scott and Kevin have both mentioned it.
Wow.
Crowd, when I saw him throwing all the stuff in the ring.
This is his version of why they look so surprised.
Ring, and me and Gene was holding the microphone interviewing me. I said, just like that crap in this ring, this represents all you people out here. I said, I was selling out the world when you guys were bumming gas to get to high school, brother. And I was just running off the top of my head, saying whatever dumb shit I could think of. Yeah. And then when I saw me and Gene get hit in the nose and he started bleeding, I told Scott Kev, I said, bro, we might have a little bit of a ride in here. I really need to slow down with my role here, because I was getting pretty aggressive verbally, And once again, none of that stuff is scripted. So my wife says, I might say anything, once I get out there. So, but it was that night was a huge night. And on the way out, I'm walking to the ring, right? And all of a sudden, my mind is totally focused on who I am and what I am. Because when I walk through that curtain, I'm Hulk Hogan, brother. Because if I don't believe it, nobody's going to believe it. And I'm totally Hulk Hogan, man. I've gone through my transformation. I'm this crazy alien, and I'm going out there. And all of a sudden, I went, angle alert. You dumbass, you're supposed to be wrestling. You're hiding in the hotel room so long. You still have your cowboy boots on. You never wrestled in cowboy boots. And now I'm walking to the ring going, this is going to be the greatest thing for my career, or I'm done. This is going to destroy my career, saying the training prayers and vitamins, I did it for the money, And all of a sudden I'm walking down there and I got into my own head. I said, holy shit, I got cowboy boots on. I forgot to put my wrestling boots on. I'm supposed to be wrestling. But it was like an angle alert. I almost screwed myself up overthinking stuff on the way, just walking to the ring. But they were shocked when they saw me come through the curtain.
For sure.
I just like to do stuff like that. It's just
that's why
cool.
you're who you are.
Yeah. I'll let you go here in a second. I do have one question because like I said earlier, one of the most impressive things about what you've been able to do is just infiltrate culture in a way that cannot be erased or forgotten
or replicated. Bro, the biggest thing ever. As someone who actually lived through it, I'm like you. The biggest thing ever. The biggest personality ever.
Well, you lived through it, right? And then mind.
So wait, that guy's older than Logan?
Yeah, that guy's probably in his late 30s, I think.
Okay.
But wait, no, he was saying he played with Hulk Hogan WCW stuff when he was a kid, so that means he's my age. So it's Logan. He's probably saying Logan didn't watch wrestling.
Maybe they'll elaborate.
Generation and the current generation is still experiencing the ripple effects of your career. It is insane, and I will kiss your ass and gas you up. It's incredible, and I'm taking notes, and I'm just sitting here so inspired. But
that's what this podcast should have been called. Logan Paul kisses your ass and gasses you up.
I guess my question is, did you have that goal to infiltrate culture in that way? Not just with wrestling. I'm sure there was a point where you realized oh, I'm good at this and people are biting. But then also the movies, the merch, all the ancillary stuff that comes with it, like Rocky, a Rocky movie, that you potentially sacrifice to your career at the time made it look like for that decision? Like, was that a goal of yours? And did you realize that you could land among the stars if you shot for the moon?
Well, I did some really stupid stuff, you know, like when I was playing in a rock and roll band. I was a huge wrestling fan, okay, growing up, because we didn't have anything. We just had baseball. You know, we didn't have the Bucks. We didn't have hockey when I was growing up so many years ago. So
I can feel your credulity straining. Which thing is setting you off?
This story's so boring, and he tells it every fucking interview.
It's true. That is true.
He's like, I could have been a big rock and roll star, but then my band didn't want to go on tour with whatever band I say it is this week. Usually it's Blackfoot. And I said, fuck you, I'm going to be the best wrestler ever. You guys are shit out of luck. And they laughed at me, but then I did it, brother. And they were all, oh no, Hulk, you're super cool. Yeah, he tells this story every fucking interview he does.
This is true.
I was a huge wrestling fan. And one of the big mistakes I made is I was a studio musician out of Atlanta with Century Artists. So I left here and went on the road.
He's going to drop whatever album that I was talking about before.
I came back here when I was in high school. They had all these really good bands, you know. So I grabbed the best keyboard player from one band, best lead singer, best drummer, and put this band together. And then the wrestlers started coming. Because when the band would play on the beach or the band would play in North Tampa or St. Pete, we had this crazy following.
Is he talking about that terrible album he put out as Hulk Hogan?
No.
You know, to come see us. And the wrestlers started showing up. I was scared to death of these guys, man. Cauliflower ears, broken noses, teeth knocked out. They're all over 300 pounds. And if you want to get in the wrestling business, there's no chance. There's only like 8 guys in the dressing room. They don't have a performance center to go work out at, you know? So like a dumbass, I started telling everybody, I'm going to be a wrestler. And I was running my mouth in Tampa. So they took me down to the Sportatorium here over on Albany and Kennedy, about 2 minutes away from here. They got me in the ring, they exercised me to death. And then Hiro Matsuda got and put his elbow on my shin and posted my toe and broke my leg. So that was my first day. You know, and I had real long blonde hair because I was playing in a band. They said, don't ever come back again. So I went home and my dad beat my ass worse than they did down here.
I mean, you're having a bad day.
Yeah.
Things were different.
And he said, don't ever let anybody hurt you again.
Yeah. Thanks.
So I got my mind.
They beat his ass for getting his leg broken? Seems unnecessary.
Right. I cut my hair short and I went back and then they couldn't run me off. You know, but when I started, I just wanted to make a living. You know, I just want to be a wrestler and make a payday. Then when I got in the business and I started seeing, you know, it was kind of boring and people would just sit there and the cigar smokers and beer drinkers would be in the front row and they just wanted to see blood. And it was kind of like, okay, well, I can do this. You know, I was wrestling preliminary matches and they put a mask on me, called me the Super Destroyer because I was in really good shape when I was younger. And they wanted to protect me in case I did become something someday. And so once I started wrestling, you know, I went through a bunch of different changes. I became Terry Boulder, and then this promoter in Atlanta named me Sterling Golden, you know. And that's a whole nother story. But I was in the ring one day, and when I slammed people, I looked at the crowd, and the look got a better reaction than the move. And I went, oh, wait a minute. You know, then I did something else, and I did something, and the look to the crowd got a better reaction. I said, okay, they want to see the bullshit. You know, and being a musician and being in front of crowds and talking and stuff, I was used to being in front of people. So, you know, all of a sudden, I started changing the way I worked in the ring and started mugging the crowd more. So all of a sudden, it started, you know, getting a little crazy, and I started figuring it out. And then when I got fired from WWF, I was a bad guy at the time. I just sold out Shea Stadium with Andre the Giant in '78, and I got fired a couple weeks later. And then when I went to Minnesota, I started this Hulkamania crap. I would go to the mall and have T-shirts made, and I started to figure out the shirt and the hulking up. And then once I came up, I wouldn't let anybody stop me. You know, once I came up, you know, they could beat on me, do whatever, but I wouldn't let them stop me. I'd just plow through and do my comeback and finish, you know, whatever the finish was. But
I lost track of that.
This is just him huffing his own farts.
Okay.
That's all it is. Just
we're getting close.
He's just the take-home point from this is I figured out that a lot of wrestling is just acting and like stuff to connect with the crowd. And once I figured that out, that's when I started being good at being popular at wrestling. That's all he's saying. But he's Hulk Hogan, so he's got a name drop and fucking all that other shit.
The good news is we're almost through it.
But when I got back to New York and I walked in the Garden, they were selling any merchandise and no music. So I said something to Vince about playing music. He said, oh, we don't play music here. So I ran up to the sound guy, gave him $500. I gave him the eye of the tiger. I said, crank this shit.
No way.
I said, crank this shit.
Gangster.
Yeah. So
false. The first guy documented having entrance music in the WWF is Sergeant Slaughter because he wanted to play the Marine hymn on the way to the ring to get the I'm a Marine thing over.
Okay. So.
And then they noticed that worked really well. So they just let everybody have music after that. So Hulk Hogan pretending he invented entrance music in wrestling is just unequivocally false. Like it's just
Hulk, what the fuck?
They cranked that music at don't, and the place just blew.
Yeah.
The place just blew.
Can you imagine the execs if he did that today?
Bro, copyright for millions of dollars.
Oh, Scotty Brothers wasn't happy with me at all.
Yeah.
No, they weren't happy at all. So anyway, now we do this thing. I pull it off. Things go perfectly. Thank God I did blow my knee out that night.
Bro.
There was a board up in the gardens. Last time I jumped up and dropped a knee on anybody's chest because I blew my left knee out. It was crazy. I thought I was going to have to tell anybody, but I wrapped it up and did whatever I had to do to kill the pain. And I started, getting over with the character and the music. I realized I was onto something. And then all of a sudden, when the people like Right Guard started coming to me to do commercials, and the A-Team was calling me to be on the show, and Mr. T, that's how we hooked him. I did a couple episodes and talked him into wrestling. And just all these things started happening. All the wrestlers wanted music. So Jimmy Hart, of course, Keep on Dancing, recorded at Sun Studios with Elvis and everybody back in the day. Jimmy's like 81 years old. Jimmy, wrote all the tent music, like Shawn Michaels music, everybody's music. All the wrestlers wanted music. Then we started making Hulkamania t-shirts, and then Vince started making it for everybody because Vince wasn't into it at the time, but he caught on real quick.
Jimmy Hart did write some entrance music, but Jim Johnston definitely had a job as the music guy by that point.
And
he wrote your music, Hulk. Like, why are you lying?
And is Hulk Hogan right now taking credit for the invention of selling t-shirts?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Which is also another thing that's just demonstrably false.
That can't be true.
Then all of a sudden I realized this is a monster.
For sure.
And I realized I had a chance to change the game. And once we started that cartoon on CBS, that pissed off all the beer drinkers and all the cigar smokers. And then once we said this is an exhibition, we wanted to get rid of all the commissioners. Because like the boxing commissioners that you had there last night, they were killing us. They were wanting paydays. They were wanting to be paid on the table.
He's actually drinking Prime. Oh my God, Logan actually drank Prime.
He does need steroids to keep his muscles up to counteract all the endocrine damage from the PFAS. He does. We now know he poisons his body with his own poison.
He passed different tests.
Well, that's good. I have more respect for him then, sort of. Because at least he consumes the bullshit he forces everybody to be around.
He doesn't look like he enjoys it, though.
Yeah, of course not. He probably hates it.
Fast test, it just got crazy. So Vince deregulated wrestling, and when he said it was an exhibition, that really pissed a lot of the people off. And then we had the family show up at ringside with the kids. Not only would they buy the tickets, they'd buy hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise and stuff. That's when I realized that it was bigger than me just being a wrestler. That's when I realized I had a chance, to change the game.
Wait, how did that hit you before the cartoon?
Completely, and the character would become larger than life. And I knew once Sports Illustrated called me, and I was the only wrestler that's ever been on the cover. I said, okay, this changes everything, But I had no idea when I started that it was going to turn into what it turned into.
At the time, he was the only wrestler who had been on the cover.
Okay.
Several other wrestlers have been on the cover since.
Okay.
I just wanted a job. I just wanted to be a wrestler and make a living. So it just blew through the roof.
Man, I know we just met, and I am your underling, but I'm proud of you. I'm proud
of you, brother.
Yeah, incredible career. I'm so inspired, man.
What does that even mean?
He's got the gassing up the old heads part of wrestling etiquette down. So that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to gas up the old heads and tell them, thanks, man. I really appreciate you giving me advice. And usually you do, because like, even if they suck, they've been around the business longer than you. So you got to take something that they say.
Fair.
But like, what can get annoying is they will just, I mean, I was lucky when I was a manager, so most of the old head wrestlers didn't give so like, if someone did come up to me to give me advice, I would usually listen, because it's like, wow, you actually want to give me advice. But yeah, like being like respectful is all you're supposed to be. But a lot of people like taking like the hey champ, like calling the old guy champ, and
it almost seems condescending, but maybe I'm just not part of the culture.
I mean, some of them love it. Most of them love it.
Okay.
I mean, from Hogan's era, they love it. The guys who came up in like the 90s, they get a little bit more like, fuck you. Shut up, dude.
Makes sense.
Thanks for blessing us with your time today. I know you had a late night, not much sleep. Your beer is great, kept us both awake.
I'm very upset with you, man.
Why?
Fucking me out like that.
No.
The beer kept you awake?
Well, I mean, he was probably drinking Prime, though.
Since I feel like
come on, that was messed up.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Like you don't know all this.
It was all right. No, it was cool. It was cool, but I thought you really didn't know.
No,
because some of the audience members, like I don't know if all of them are like wrestling fans. I just want to clarify. Like,
yeah, for sure, just so the audience knows.
Yeah.
Well, if they don't, they're just gonna go over their head. Yeah. But Hulk Hogan, brother, thank you for joining us, brother.
Dude, you just made one of my childhood dreams come true, man.
Yeah,
thank you,
Kevin
guys.
too. Yeah, I bet Kevin getting headlocked. He was going to write on his Instagram. An honor, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much,
guys.
thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Impulsive Hulk Hogan, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. Peace.
Peace out.
Whoo, yeah.
Like,
God damn.
Like, it peaked with Logan Paul outing himself as not knowing any of the lingo.
Yeah, that was pretty
that was hilarious.
Pretty stunning and hilarious. We also know now that Logan Paul does drink Prime.
He actually does drink it. I'm surprised. Like, I've only ever seen him hold it.
Yep. Podcast was pretty much what one would expect from a Logan Paul podcast. Although, to be fair, having only really seen a couple of them, I don't really have a huge
Yeah,
base of measurement.
I only watched the Dominic Mysterio one because I heard that he trolls Logan the whole time. So I watched that one, and he does. And it is great.
I can't lie. That sounds way better than this. Yeah, the part where Hulk Hogan had a senior moment
multiple times.
Yeah, but one of them was clearly worse than the others.
Yeah.
To be asked what makes Donald Trump your hero, and then to go on to tell a story about Vince McMahon, which actually makes you wonder if that story he told at the RNC that didn't make any sense was actually about Vince McMahon.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Could be.
Yeah,
could be. Huh. A bunch of and actually, you know what? Maybe Hulk Hogan is doing less lying nowadays and doing more. My brain is old.
Yeah, could be.
And also, it's my brain is mush, and I've been lying to myself for years. So now I just say whatever and believe all of it. Totally possible. Still a liar though, with no credibility.
Yeah.
Hope you were entertained by our commentary in this I hope the part where we mess with the sound to experiment with how chipmunky it got was entertaining. But yeah, ultimately, just thank you for if you made it this far. Hats off to you, because you had to sit through not just us, but all of that.
Yeah.
So thank you. We appreciate it deeply.
Yes.
Anyways, all right. Any final thoughts?
No, it's just hilarious. Logan Paul has been around wrestling at least some for years now, and he still doesn't know the most basic industry words.
I could not believe that he would not, that especially with who trained him, he would not have learned the word shoot.
Yeah.
It's baffling. So he's either really stupid or they really don't like him.
Yeah.
Could even be a little both.
Probably.
Could be a little both. Well, anyways, thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe and comment on YouTube, but also, on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts from. By the way, Spotify and YouTube have video. I know not all the podcast platforms have that. But anyways, thank you for tuning in. Please, if you want to contact the program, like I said before, I'd love to have any conservatives or Democrats or anyone on to share your most controversial opinions with me. You can email me at rubenuncut@gmail.com. All right, it's time to say goodbye, Gato.
Bye, everybody.
Have a wonderful whatever, wherever, whoever you are.